The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It's supposed to be a feel-good Friday, October 22nd, 2021 years after the year zero, but I got my ass beat by FanDuel just last night. Risk-free same-game parlay, 1 week removed from Tom Brady fucking us all over with his kneel downs. 0 out of 4 of the legs that we put together after studying for hours and hours on last night's game hit. So worst same-game parlay we've ever put out. It was a rough night. Didn't sleep much, to be honest with you. Got a lot of tweets telling me how terrible of a person I am. A lot of people telling me how I lost them their mortgage, how I lost them their house, how their kids are no longer going to be able to go to school because the risk-free same-game parlay that we put out there won 0-4-4. Now, I will say that the council and I had a long meeting yesterday morning to decide what was and what was not going to be put onto the same-game parlay. Some of our decisions, hindsight, good. Some of our decisions, hindsight, terrible. Case Keenum looked a lot better than I think anybody could imagine, but how did we know that D'Ernest Johnson was going to be the best running back in the fucking NFL out of nowhere? This guy was sending DMs to all the AFL teams just back in 2018 saying, hey, how you doing? Keep moving. Went to USF, wondering if I could send you a video and see if you could put me on a team. He goes to the Orlando Apollos. Then all of a sudden he ends up on the Cleveland Browns. Chubb, Hunt, both get paid, both get hurt, both all pros. Now this guy gets a chance and runs all over the Denver Broncos, who might be in big trouble. And I hate to break to old Ethan in Texas, who's a Broncos fan, who called yesterday and told us basically we won't talk enough about the Broncos. That team fucking stinks, dude.
Yes.
I don't know how or why they stink. In Von Miller, there is no structural damage on his ankle after getting injured and getting taken out of there. But last night, the story of the night was D'Ernest Johnson being one of the coolest stories I have ever heard of in some time. Seems to be so upbeat, seems to be so happy, an absolute stud. And I would like to let everybody know that at one point during our council meeting yesterday morning, that risk-free same-game parlay was going to have a lot of D'Ernest Johnson in it.
Oh, yeah?
That's on me.
No, because you also said hit the under. And the under did hit, and I said, no, we can't do the under because if that thing ends in the first quarter, second quarter, then there's nothing really to hold on hope to for the third quarter, fourth quarter. So we got rid of one of Tone's bets. We put in a couple other ones. We did all the research. Tim Patrick wasn't even on the team till the fourth quarter. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I promise you the Cleveland Browns got to be feeling great about what happened last night. The Denver Broncos should be feeling absolutely terrible about what happened last night. What's Vic Fangio's future look like? What's Teddy Bridgewater's future like when he had a bad quad, bad foot, couldn't really complete many passes? Who knows how this whole thing goes for them over there at Mile High City, but I'm incredibly proud and happy for the Cleveland Browns squad. That was a ragtag bunch that was basically thrown together and did an incredible job. Now, is Odell Beckham Jr. dead? Made a couple plays in the second half. Okay, First half, everybody's saying this guy's big waste of money, big waste of spot. Who knows? Why is he here? Dropping balls, falling off for routes. Michael Lombardi said, hey, when guys who have incredibly great hands start dropping balls, it normally means that their legs are potentially gone, which means they're worried about what they're running. They're a little bit tired. They're not as focused on their hands. Odell Beckham Jr. has always had incredible hands. Looks like he had a rough first half. Came back to it in the second half, but who knows how that whole thing goes. If he gets cut this year or released $15.5 million in dead cap, if he's gone after this season next year, no money. Look for Odell Beckham Jr.'s on the move conversations to start heating up today.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be talking about that because I think at this point we don't know what the future looks like for Odell, who I am a massive fan of, always have been, always will be. Jarvis Landry got the ball like 15 times in the first quarter. Case Keenum was slinging it, but that D'Ernest Johnson story is one that makes the NFL absolutely beautiful. Next man up mentality is always something that's chit-chatted about. Hey, whenever somebody goes down, you get an opportunity, you grab a hold of that thing and you ride that son of a bitch as hard as you can. D'Ernest Johnson did that in a beautiful fashion. Who knows what his future looks like, by the way? What happens when Chubb and Hunt get back and you got D'Ernest Johnson sitting, on the bench? Is he going to be playing special teams? Or other teams going to be calling about D'Ernest Johnson? They got a lot of things to figure out. It was a great Thursday night football game that we had no expectations for except for the risk-free same-game parlay not hitting at all.
Yeah, come on.
Joining me, the Talks the Table at Boston Connor at Ty Schmidt, Hammer Dahn host Tone Diggs. Tone Diggs, your thoughts on the game last night?
Yeah, I'll wear the same game parlay. I mean, two of those legs I I vouch for, and people tell me I suck every day, so I'm cool with that.
No. People tell me I suck every single day. You don't suck, though. And you're the host of one of the hottest gambling shows on earth, Hammer Dahn, which happens 15 minutes after this show ends every single day at youtube.com/Hammer Dahn. So I don't think it's your fault at all. Piecing together, okay, a same game parlay on a game where we didn't know where anybody was going to play was difficult, but I do put a lot of credence on the fact that we did our research.
We did.
Everything seemed to be crystal clear. I mean, we did have Teddy Bridgewater throwing for 110 yards between two wide receivers that it didn't appear as if the ball was going to make it to a couple of them on a couple of different occasions. That guy was banged up, bruised, battered. We didn't know that. We could have never known.
He was banged up, and the Cleveland Browns defense has not been great as of late. They played really good last night. Did not see that coming. I mean, I guess we could have. The Broncos have only been good against 3 of the worst teams in the NFL.
They stink, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What's that all about? What was the conversation if Aaron Rodgers goes there, they're going to win the Super Bowl? Is that because he's Aaron Rodgers? And maybe he would. Maybe he would, by the way. I'm not 100% sure. But there wasn't even a thought to put Drew Lock in, it seemed like, at halftime. Now, there was a little bit of Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were saying, what are the Denver Broncos going to do in the second half? Are they going to bring in Drew Lock to bring a little bit of a spark to that offense? So much so that we actually saw Drew Lock talking with the ball guy. And he was it looked like he was like, yeah, this ball's good. This ball's good. Then Teddy jogs out there. They start hitting a little bit, you know? And to their credit, they kept that thing close when it didn't seem like it was going to be close at all. Their defense couldn't get any stops until they absolutely needed one, kept that game kind of close for a bit. But inevitably, the Browns just ran the Broncos right out of fucking Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a breezy night, and I assume everybody's going to use a long weekend, and Teddy Bridgewater's probably going to get the quad drained and the foot iced and everything like that. But what a game for the risk-free same-game parlay to go, for 4. I don't even know how that's possible.
I think it would have been 1 for 4, but FanDuel managed to change it from 67.5 to 70.
True. That's a great point.
Nobody's talking about that.
Nope.
And the reason why we had to do that is because the odds potentially change, and they can say put, because we're not allowed to have a parlay put it. These are the. Listen, we agreed to these rules.
Mm-hmm.
We agreed to these rules with FanDuel whenever we're talking about this risk-free same-game parlay. It has to be above plus 400, below 2,000. It has to be more than, it has to be either 4 or more legs. Can't be more than 6 legs. So there is a set of rules that have been created by us in FanDuel. And FanDuel has beaten our ass, to be honest. And last night it was the worst one. But you're right. We could have hit a couple, but no way in hell could any of us known that Ernest Johnson might be the best running back in the NFL. Yeah. Case Keenum was slinging it.
Oh, yeah.
Slinging, underthrow. Sling, underthrow. Sling, underthrow. But then all of a sudden, whenever you realize, like, hey, Batania is going to move this entire, just run right behind him. Yeah. And that's what Ernest Johnson was doing. Great cuts, great magic, great moves. But they took the ball out of Case Keenum's hand. As soon as that happened, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And I thought potentially maybe all you need is 1 to Tim Patrick. Go ahead and let him go. There's 40. Cortland Sutton started getting the ball on the sideline. Like, okay, here we go. We're going to get this. We're going to backdoor this thing. In the fourth quarter, I thought there's a chance we backdoor it. And then the Cleveland Browns went on a 97-yard drive with all runs. And it was like, this Denver Broncos team stinks. I have no idea what happens. They seem to lack any will, any inspiration, anything like that. And I think that bodes bad for Vic Fangio in his future. Who knows what that's going to work out. At Boston Connor, your thoughts on the game last night?
I mean, it flew. Like, to your point, they were just running
fast
the ball.
Game.
It's so fast. I couldn't believe it. The second half felt like it was damn near 45 minutes. And usually, you expect to be up, especially recently, till midnight, 1 o'clock, because these primetime games, everything's been happening. But Baker on the sideline, I thought Baker was going to be kind of like stooge, sit on the bench, not really give a shit. He was clicking his pen. He was writing notes. He was listening to the plays. He was going nuts.
Did he do a 2-minute all by himself before the game started?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
think
what I was
so.
worried about.
Because he probably would have snapped his arm in half if he would have.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Whenever you're breaking a huddle with no people, you never know what's going to happen to your humerus bone, especially if it's already cracked.
Yeah.
I don't know how that news didn't get out earlier in the day until Jay Glazer was able to break that just an hour before kickoff, basically. Not only is it a torn labrum, remember Ian Rappaport told us he's got to tighten that up.
That's right.
How the fuck are you going to tighten up a torn labrum? I mean, that was a very fascinating. As soon as Ian Rappaport said, he's got to tighten that thing up a little bit, I literally, what does that even mean? Well, the muscles around it, and then all of a sudden Jay Glazer, he kind of just dropped it in there casually, by the way. Also, broken humerus bone, which I always thought was funny bone.
So did I. Thought it was the elbow. Yeah.
Me too.
I said, what the hell's going on here?
Not too funny.
No.
Funny bone.
Right.
No, it's actually the humor. Turns out that's in the shoulder.
Who knew?
I learned a lot yesterday about Baker Mayfield potentially playing through a lot of pain. He had a broken bone and a torn labrum, still going out there. They had to give him some insane shots. But you're right. I liked how invested Baker Mayfield was in the game in Case Keenum and in his teammates, Ernest Johnson, playing very well. The future, though, I mean, now with Baker Mayfield definitely being out.
Yeah.
And they're saying, well, whenever the broken humerus heals, he'll be able to get back because the rotator cuff will be able to keep the torn labrum in check or whatever. It's like, okay, so you need a torn labrum to heal itself, and you need a bone to heal itself. I might know no, I think it was up here, wasn't it?
That's what
So
I
that's
looked
the
this
whole
morning.
humerus bone. So we were kind of right about the elbow.
No, see, I don't know, because that was not the graph that I seen on it. It was said it was something
Yeah,
up in here. So we might have been lied to. Humerus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look again. Sorry.
No, you're probably right. What I'm saying is I was very confused last night because they were saying it was up in the
Like near the
When I looked
clavicle.
this morning, I saw that picture as well. But then there's also like a second thing like up here that connects it to that longer thing.
So there's humeri.
There might be
Whoa.
humeri.
So there's two humeruses. There's humeri in the body.
Yep.
Whatever the case, I don't know how bones just join back together. I don't know if that happens. I wish it would for Baker. It seems like he's obviously very invested in the team, but that's a heartbreaker for Baker Mayfield, who's coming into a contract deciding season. Now it looks like he's going to be out for at least some time until his. I mean, what do you do? Drink milk? Is that right? Is milk what it is?
Whole milk. Yep.
That's what he's got to do. He's just got to house milk out there. I don't even know how you get the bone to come back, and let alone the torn labrum and just join each other back into the whole thing. It makes no sense.
Well, and like you were saying yesterday, like, okay, that's all good and well until he gets hit one more time or until he goes down on it. Like, there's a good chance that it just breaks again. Like, it's not going to heal to the point in 3 weeks where he doesn't have to worry about it the rest of the season. Like, I think they are in trouble. And then on the other side, going back to what you said about Drew Lock, like, how bad does it bode for him if Teddy looks like that, he's hurt, and they still won't go to him? Like,
Yeah, Drew Lock got buried last.
yeah, they're in bad shape. Like, and right now, I mean, who knows? They could lose a bunch of games and get a decent draft pick, and the quarterbacks aren't that great in this class, but they're looking like they're going to be middle of the road again.
Oh, they're looking for Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, it seems like that's like Elway wants a guy. I mean, shit, before the game last night, they went through the amount of guys who have started for the Broncos, and it's just terrible. Like, they need to get an established guy. Otherwise, I feel like it's the same team every year.
It felt like Elway at one point was like, is Tim Patrick on our fucking
Yeah.
They had him up in the booth or the suite, and he had these tiny little binoculars. They're like this big. And I think he was asking the same question as us. What the fuck is going on out there? Because that offense looked non-existent. I mean, it looked absolutely terrible. Melvin Gordon was running for 2 yards, 3 yards.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're going to get to 25 yards from this guy. Then they actually split time with 33.
Javonte Williams.
Yeah,
Rookie.
they actually split time in there. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea, I guess. Chubb and Hunt do the same thing. But, man, nobody got going.
No.
Nope.
Teddy Bridgewater never really seemed comfortable. He had terrible quad. We saw him. He had a press conference either after the game or before the game, and we saw him actually have to jump off the podium because he couldn't put weight on his leg. He was trying to avoid Myles Garrett and the boys. Jadeveon Clowney's playing last night. I mean, it just seems like the Denver Broncos, in a very difficult division, showed last night that they might completely stink. That might be. There he is. What the fuck he's saying? Did I not pay some of these guys? How much money are we using? Now remember, he did promote himself, not fire himself.
Right.
He promoted himself to above the GM.
Yes.
And he was just as flustered as all of us. I wonder if he was looking at Drew Lock on the sideline and saying, nah, there's no way we put that guy in, even though our offense isn't moving and Teddy Bridgewater looks like he needs at least 2 canes, maybe a stroller to get around this entire game. That place is completely lost. Denver Broncos, and we have obvious connections to the Broncos.
Right.
I have friends that are coaching over there. That looked that looked bad. And on the flip side, that could have been a turn of the tide for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who were on a bit of a schneid, short week, Thursday night football. People, I guess it was only one and a half, I think, whenever kickoff happened. Denver Broncos were getting 1.5, so the Browns were still favored. And even more so, if you're a Broncos fan, you got to be like, well, our team fucking stinks. We weren't even favored when nobody knew who was going to be playing for the Browns. We're both in the AFC. The Browns are 4th in the AFC North, let alone being in the AFC West, which is absolutely packed. If you're a Broncos fan, last night had to be a bit alarming, a bit jolting. And for me, I think I had a little bit too much faith in them. I assume a lot of Broncos fans did the same exact thing.
Well, and you go back to the draft earlier this year where General George Payton, their GM, said, like, hey, we got a cornerback because it's a lot harder to get a corner. Like, they could have had Justin Fields. They could have had Mac Jones. Like, they had opportunities, and I'm sure they've looked ahead at next year's draft class, and it's like, okay, we might not find our guy here. Like, they had chances to get a guy who, and maybe they thought Teddy was, but I think it's pretty apparent. That,
Hey, real quick, Surtain's a guy though, huh?
yeah, he's very good. Very good.
And they took Javonte with the 35th overall. Melvin Gordon was pissed when that happened.
And Melvin Gordon, by the way, looked like a good teammate. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because when Von Miller was getting helped off, I don't know if the first person on the sideline was almost Melvin Gordon, like, you okay? And he was having a terrible game at that point. And he knows that he's splitting time with a rookie who was drafted high. Like, I think Melvin Gordon, good teammate, but they're going to have to figure a lot out over there. I can't believe we went 0 for 4 on that thing. I cannot believe it.
That game was a dud. It was not good. And we also didn't have any of the Browns players that we could have put props in because it was so early on in the day yesterday. But at least you were not, or any of us, the cameraman on the sideline when Justin Simmons absolutely decleated him.
Well, I mean, that photog.
Oh, man.
He got folded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a compromising position. First of all, look at that lens, Z. Hey, Z, look at that lens
It's
on.
amazing lens.
Hey, that's a good ass lens on this guy. I think his name's Tom.
Matt Starkey.
Matt. Sorry.
Close.
Very close.
T in there.
There's a couple T's.
He's an
couple L's.
amazing photographer.
He is incredible.
Amazing.
This guy is very good at his job.
Yeah.
I mean, the lens.
Yeah.
The bigger the lens, the bigger the possibilities.
Sometimes you have to keep your head on a swivel.
Shout out you for using Photog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
felt everybody was talking about it. Photog just felt like the right word there. But him sitting in there, getting the shot, and probably not even realizing what was about to happen, eating it, hair flying, puts the hat back on, gets that camera right back in there.
Yeah.
What a legend. Congrats, Matt, on surviving.
Let's go.
Because, I mean, that was a cut block
Yeah.
right to his, I mean, it looks like his kit and caboodle right here. He got folded right in half. There was some things to look forward to, but that game did stink. It was
bad.
It was bad. It was very quick, though, thankfully.
Yeah.
Which works for us because that was not very fun to watch.
Well, it didn't work for us last night. As I saw that clock ticking, I was like, what
Wait
are
a
we?
minute.
It's already fourth quarter. We don't have enough time. We got a lot of yards we got to get here. Are they putting Drew Lock in now, or when are they going to do that? That thing was just flying by. And I can't stress this enough. Although the risk-free same-game parlay, had its worst performance it's ever had last night. 0 for 4. I mean, that is... I mean, how do you go? That's almost more impressive. Because the last same-game parlay that didn't hit, a lot of people were like, oh, is it time to fade the same-game parlay? I'm like, to fade it, you would have to, fade every single bet that we made in there?
Right.
So last week, you would have won 1 for 5. The week before that, you would have won, I think, 2 for 5. The week before that, you would have won 1 for 5. So is it fade? Like a lot of people, last night, you faded. I mean, it would have been.
You would have been all
you
right.
would have fucking winning.
No,
So I always
no.
wanted to tell a couple people that were like, tell me, oh, is it time to fade? I'm like, well, to fade, you would have to fade each bet individually or maybe piece together a parlay of your own with the opposite of this. But you would not have won until last night. So congrats to those particular
They
people.
still would have lost
Why?
because the Tim Patrick over hit, and you can't take the under of an alternate. We had to take the alternate 70 or over. Or not Tim Patrick. Sorry, Cortland Sutton.
It's those little things. It's those little tiny things.
That's right.
There are those details that get lost in translation with the beautiful people. But that will not change. The Super Boost is still 3 for 3.
That's right.
So everybody's saying that I'm working for, I blocked a lot of people this morning. It's my new thing. If you're saying that I'm openly trying to make money for FanDuel and fuck over me, this office, and the people that listen and watch, I am blocking. I do not have time for you. We do not work for FanDuel. Okay, FanDuel is a partner of our show, just like we don't work for Mad Dog Radio. They license our show, okay? No say over anything that happens over here, just like FanDuel. No say over anything that happens here. I am tired of people telling me that I'm fucking stealing money from us in general and trying to make FanDuel money. That is not the case.
No.
So I'm fed up. A lot of blocking this.
You got to be a clown if you do that. And also, we talked about it yesterday off air. Next week, be a little bit easier for the
Packers
same
cards.
game parlay. We
Packers
know
cards.
the players. We know the game. Next week, it's time to go.
What are we going to go with next week? I don't even know.
I'm gonna sit this one out.
A lot of
Nuke,
options.
Kyler,
Yeah.
AJ might go Thursday Night Football. AJ Green just scored a touchdown last week. I mean, there is, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. Of course.
Yeah.
No same game parlays are easy, but at some point that is going to have to hit. And I hope everybody opted in, got the risk-free option. If not, I promise we will hit one of those and we will celebrate. And the Super Boost this weekend will hit. And the Super Boost, by the way, actually more detrimental to FanDuel than the same game parlay that is risk-free because everybody gets their money back on the risk-free same game parlay. The boosted odds actually fuck FanDuel more, and we've hit the last 3, going to hit 4 this weekend.
Go.
Boom.
Now, AJ will be joining us in about 38 minutes, I believe. I have no idea where he's at. We'll go through the entire slate this weekend. Last weekend, I went 10-4. Last night, we didn't publicly, openly state it. I did place quite a hefty bet on Cleveland -1.5 as soon as I saw them jog on the field with the lights off. I don't know if you saw it. They came onto the field, lights off, flames, place went crazy. It looked like they were excited. Case Keenum looked very confident. I was like, okay, the Browns are going to win this game. All right. So that was literally it. So we didn't make a pick, so we will be out one pick. AJ and I didn't officially do that, but I'm excited for us to continue to hit, continue to learn, continue to evolve, and I am so sorry that we did not hit that same game parlay last night. Legitimately kept me up at night. It does keep me up at night. Just like another announcement I made this morning on Twitter that happened, where I've been thinking about this for, a few months. Because when we started this whole thing 4 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago, it has been an incredible ride. It has been an incredible ride. The boys, once interns, the guys, now we've grown into this. The pod has become my favorite show, like legitimately my favorite show to watch and listen. Every third, fourth caller that calls into this show says the same exact thing. And to be clear, the pod is this show without me in it. Right? So that is, every time somebody calls in and is like, hey, the pod is the best show of all time. I agree as a fan, as a listener, and it is the show without me, basically. Everything else is the same, except for me, which is awesome, and I appreciate it, which is why I don't go on to the pod, because there's too much of me. This show is me talking so much. But we're at a point now, and it's because of your incredible hard work, boys, your incredible talent, the incredible amount of commitment that you've had to your work in your everything. And this morning, I, finally came to the point where I was like, it's time for these boys to stop being held back by me and you guys try and kind of create your own show. Now, it would be a daily show in my eyes. It would start probably next season if I had to guess, and I'd be looking for a new batch of people in here with me on the day-to-day. So I and the other fans of your guys' diehard. By the way, I'm your biggest fan. Would like to let everybody know that. And it's felt like it was the right time to do that. You guys have told me to go fuck myself, though.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You guys have told me that is not going to be the case.
Yeah, basically.
Which is wild. I did not expect that at all. The internet also, I think, was kind of mixed reaction. Everybody's like, you're firing everybody? It was like, no, actually, I'm trying to promote these guys so I don't hold them back anymore. And I walked into this office this morning. I thought it was going to be an excitement. Like, hey, we got a new thing. We're going to build this thing. We're going to go. You guys all told me to go fuck myself. So I guess that's not going to be the case.
Love this show. It's why all of us, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but it's why we wake up in the morning and are excited to come in.
But like your guys' maximum effort into the show, I appreciate. Too much of me's talking. Too much. Like, for instance, I just cut you off right there.
No,
you don't
didn't.
deserve that. Your listeners don't deserve it. You have a passionate, loyal group of people that watch you. They call into this show literally every third, fourth call, and I'm a big believer in the universe. I'm a big believer in the universe telling me things. And I think we finally got to the point, not finally, because this is a relatively quick amount of time to create a brand, create a show, create a product, to become as talented as you guys have become. You guys, I think, have the ability, capability, and I'm not the only one that believes this, to put on a much better show than the one that I'm a part of with you guys holding you back. So I thought it was the right time to kind of do that. I'm going to look for some other people potentially for the next few months, see who we can piece in here. I had no idea you guys were going to tell me, go fuck myself, as soon as I walked in here. It feels like that was kind of the attitude, so I don't know what to believe.
With all due respect, I come in here every day to be on a camera with you, and if I'm not going to be on a camera with you, I don't even know if I want to be on a camera.
Oh, Tone, you're already on. Hammer Dahn every single day. Hammer Dahn every single day.
That's a degenerate thing. That I don't even know if that was my idea, but...
Exactly. How good's the show, though?
I don't know. We get like a couple hundred people who watch it.
Nah, that is not true. The show is very good. And
I'm just saying, like...
It's not fun to be in my position. All right? It is not fun to be in my position. I enjoy it, and I think, we have great vibes in here every single day, 12 to 3:30. I mean, there's some bad days. I think anytime you're dealing with me speak, and I get sick of me more than anybody else. Okay, I would like to let everybody know that. Everybody that has ever been in my life has gotten sick of me. It is just kind of the way things go. My wife, I have no idea how she's going to do it. Like, I honestly, being with me for 34 years, I have no clue how or why she signed up for it. But it feels like I'm at the point where your guys' fans have gotten sick of me, and I don't want to hold you back. And that is legitimately where I was coming from with what I tweeted this morning and everything. I do appreciate you guys telling me to go fuck myself in this thing, though, because I do enjoy you. And maybe it is a little bit too early for that particular move. But I want to let you know that is exactly where I was coming from. It was not coming from anywhere where I don't love. It was just coming from a spot where I've thought about this a lot. over like the last 6 months. I'm on planes by myself. I'm in meetings all by myself. I have to do a lot of things. It feels like, and Chuck said this about being a head coach, how it's lonely. Being a head coach is lonely. I've gotten to the point now where I have to deal with so much shit that I've gotten kind of isolated and lonely, and it's for the good of everything and good for me. And watching and listening to the pod has become like an escape for me. So I think just like the fans who call in here and say, hey, the show that you're not a part of is my favorite show, it's my favorite show too. So it doesn't make, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that I would like you guys to potentially have your own show. And I think it would be better for everybody, myself included as a fan, for you to kind of do your own thing.
But definitely not holding us back. And also, if they're part of the universe saying that, us telling you to go fuck yourself, that's never going to happen. Also, part of the universe.
Yeah,
so
but what about you being the universe?
Exactly.
That's a good
How about
point.
that?
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
But it's the same thing. Like, AJ's sick of me. I know it. Talks through me every single day to you guys. I understand that. And that is the effect that I have on people. Once again, I've been with me for 34 years, okay? This is how it goes. This is something that happens. It is something that maybe earlier in my life I would get upset about, would kind of feel, like a terrible person about. Like, how come people just, like, stop talking to me? Like, how come people just do it? And it's because I'm a lot. I'm always a lot. I talk a lot. This show's named after me. I speak 85% of this fucking show. Too much of me speaking, not enough of you guys speaking. So I just want to let you know that's where I was coming from. And I guess you guys are saying it's too soon.
You say too much of you. Listen, too much of us. Terrible thing.
No, you guys are awesome.
A terrible thing.
Anytime I get a chance to be around you guys, I love it. And anytime I listen to the pod and watch the pod, like whenever I'm all by myself on these flights, and I love you guys. Like, I really enjoy you guys. And it's hard not to believe, especially when I'm not on the show Fridays, and Friday shows are so much better when I'm not on here. It's hard. It is true. You guys are too humble to say that, because I think you guys are still imagining a world where it was 4 years ago, 3 years ago, where you guys maybe didn't have as much confidence as who you are or what you are or how you are. But now we're at a point where you guys are a bunch of peacocks. And I think you guys need to let those feathers fly a little bit. And that's literally the only place I was coming from with that.
I mean, we ride or die with you.
No,
period.
no, I appreciate
because
that.
I mean, it is the truth. Like you were saying, interns. I mean, shit. If you would have never given me the opportunity to be on here, I'd still just be behind the scenes editing the podcast. I mean, that was.
But
and I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb enough. Like I recognize that. No. That's 1,000% true.
It's not though, Ty. Like that's what we had this conversation off air, but it's real. I think you guys are in a much different reality than you believe you were in. And maybe it is too soon. Maybe you guys will continue to grow. But I just want to let you guys know, I think y'all motherfuckers are so goddamn talented. I think you would be able to do it all by yourself. My show would definitely suffer. But that's what would happen is your show would be a better show. We would potentially be offering more to our people. But I do appreciate you guys saying that ain't how you view it. Let's get to a break. We're back in 4 minutes with Dan Orlovsky. That's what the tweet was about this morning. Honestly, I thought it was a good thing. Like I actually got to a point where I was like, this is good. Like, I'm happy I've reached this point where this can happen. And as soon as I walked in here, you guys just were not about it at all. I did not expect that. I got blindsided. Normally, I'm pretty good, I think, at like, what's going to happen? How's it going to go? It was not like that at all. You guys were like, we ain't doing it. And that's fucked up, kind of.
No, we all love doing this show. We love interacting with you, and I don't want it to stop. Like, I mean, if you decide, hey, if you want us to do the pod or whatever it is every single day, I will also do that, but I don't want to do that in place of doing your show because this is the best part of my week, bar none.
Well, I appreciate that. Means a lot. I feel like I hold you guys back, and I do not want to do that anymore.
You don't.
And how come I'm getting texts from random numbers asking me if my house is for sale? It's not for
I just
sale.
got one too.
There's
house-
a gigantic leak that Apple just happened. It's the worst. I've been getting texts as well.
From a 412 number?
I've been getting calls.
Yeah, it's
lot
bad.
A lot of
phone
calls.
It's a bad leak that happened.
Bro, I'm not selling my fucking house.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
I would like to remodel it, though. So if you know anybody, I'll text back if you got a contract. All right, we're back in 4 minutes with Dan Orlovsky. Coach JB will be in the next hour. AJ Hawk will be joining us, I think, in 29 minutes. Can't wait to finish this beautiful Feel Good Friday. It was nice eating a nice fuck you from you guys today, though. I need those. I need those a lot. Back and forth. I mean, same game parlay gave me one last night, pretty big. Cheers. Do you think that it was more a negative response to the I still own you thing? Because I'm going to be honest, maybe I just have too many blinders on. Everybody I saw loved it. I mean, Chicago isn't going to love it, but everybody, like, I don't know if you heard Darius Butler came on yesterday. And he was like, to see a quarterback act like that is awesome, because normally quarterbacks are always the right answer, and I think this is what you're referring to. Always in cliches, always working hard, always this, and as soon as you step out of line a little bit, I could see there being a little bit of negativity, but at this point, wasn't everybody on your side, or was there people actually attacking you in this particular world?
Well, I don't know about attacking. I mean, Tom sends me choice articles from time to time about what is being said about certain things. I mean, my teammates and the organization, I think, really loved it. I think most Packer fans enjoyed it as well.
Hey, we loved it. Hey, we loved it. Zito?
No, hated it.
Oh, okay, see, it's from Chicago. He was supposed to hate it. He was supposed to.
I saw Olin Kreutz said he wanted to punch me in the face. Look, I think that is to say, and I don't know Olin. I respect him. He's played in the league for a long time, but are we getting that soft as a society that we can't have worth now? I mean, you know, somebody can pay for a ticket and say whatever the hell they want, which I think they should be able to. That's fine. But the one time you say something back to them, that gets caught on it, that gets caught on hot mic, which, you know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that gets said from time to time. Now it's that, you know, I've disrespected, you know, an entire city and organization and my own organization.
Well, and Justin Fields, you said Justin Fields stinks whenever you told Chicago that you owned him or whatever. You're an asshole. I guess I did see those. I'm sorry. I'm just now realizing that you were a terrible person for it, although in my house and in where we are, like, that's the coolest thing we've seen in some time. I said it was going to go down as something to talk about, people talk about forever, as well. Like Randy Moss, okay? T.O. with the autograph, the ball, and you telling a city that you own them when you're 22-5 against them, fucking some of the greatest competitive trash talk in the history of trash talk. What's the most beer you did in one night, you think, of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, between just for myself, you know, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, you know, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on, you don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you're pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? You know, I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused, they'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
Welcome back to the show. This Feel Good Friday is powered by Serial One, the makers of the innovative pedal assist electric bicycles that make every ride an adventure. Serial One combines the fun and freedom of bicycle with the effortless joy of electric power to change the way you move. We have two of them here in the office and can confirm that Serial One e-bikes are the sleekest, smoothest, most innovative e-bicycle ever made.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's accurate. I've never seen any other ones.
Neither have I, but those things are awesome.
Yeah. These things are fucking awesome.
Unreal.
Literally awesome.
Yeah.
Each one includes a carbon fiber belt drive, means no messy chain to deal with. Automatic electronic CVT transmission means no gears to shift. Mid-mounted motor makes 66 foot-pounds of torque to climb any hill.
Whoa. Any hill.
Integrated lights and internally routed wires make for an unbeatable style. Purchase online right now at serial1.com and use PAT for 10% off your purchase. That's SERIAL, the number 1.com. PAT Use promo code PAT for 10% off your purchase. Flexible financing option with no hidden fees also available. Joining us now, shout out to Serial One.
Shout out.
It's awesome.
Yeah, those things are incredible.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah.
They're a little bit pricey, but they have financing options. If you're in a city or need to ride, they are fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
In this one, the mountain bike looking one, which I think is just a sport, it's like a Tesla. As soon as you put that pedal, that thing starts assisting you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have a license for this. It makes life easy and grand. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, speaking of making life easy and grand, is a man who's the authority on quarterbacks for ESPN. Former teammate of mine, a guy who has gotten himself into some shit, I don't know, 200 to 300 times over the last year. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Orlovsky. Dan, what's up, dude?
What's up, pal? How are you? Thanks for having me back on after I begged you 6 times.
I told you this. I didn't want you to have to ask for permission to come on the show. Now that seems to no longer be the case, I'm happy to have you on here, and you are the best. You make our show better, pal. Yeah.
Well, it's great to be back, man. I'm glad my begging kind of got me back on.
What
you
is?
could say.
What are you wearing? What is that?
Oh, I don't know. I watch your show every day, and you don't ever have sleeves on, so I wanted to make sure that you knew, like, you're not the only person that could wear shirts without sleeves. You know.
Hey, is that a medium? That's a medium.
So, nah, that's probably a 3X. 4X.
Nah, Dan, you're getting small. We're seeing you look.
It's a medium.
Oh, wow.
No.
Hey, good for you.
Medium.
What are you doing?
It is so good to be back on your show.
What are you doing? CrossFit? You doing workouts? Peloton?
Nah, I don't do CrossFit. No, I mean, I do the Peloton a couple times a week. And then I don't know, work out, body weight stuff, man.
You look amazing. You're crushing it. Your NFL Live crew seems to be tighter than ever. Did you guys just decide, hey, we need to go to bat for each other on the internet more? It seems like you guys are tighter than you've ever been.
Yeah, we're tight. I think the thing that we like legit have is good friendships off screen. You know, I've known Marcus. I mean, Marcus and I were the same draft class. So I've known Marcus since 2005. And just Rutledge, Mina, and RC, we've just gelled, man. I mean, I've known RC for years as well. So, yeah, I think we've made a conscious effort of, like, we understand the power of the internet. You might know a thing or two about that. And so I think we've made a conscious effort of trying to use that platform for growth and positivity type thing.
We're learning a lot from you guys whenever you do film breakdowns and everything like that. So we appreciate you as also members of sports media. Laura Rutledge talked to me like I was the biggest idiot she's ever met in her entire life the first couple times she met me. So, I don't know how my relationship is with her, but everybody else on that thing, I absolutely fucking love. I enjoy what the show has become, the community, the culture. And let's talk about what you guys talk about on there on the daily basis, which is the NFL. Now, whenever you look at that game last night, okay, and obviously Baker with a broken humerus, a torn labrum, that's bad news. And they're saying it has to heal. I don't know how that works. I'm not a botanist or whatever it is. You got to drink more milk. I don't know how that happens. Mm-hmm. Seems like Baker's going to be out for some time. Is Case the guy you think going forward? And what does this mean for the Cleveland Browns in the future with Baker on this contract year, Dan?
Yeah, you may not be a botanist. I'm a geologist, so I've got it taken care of. But
it's nice of you.
I think Baker, from what I've heard from people that are, in the medical profession, that this is something that can heal really quickly, like 2 or 3 weeks, the bone itself.
Really?
And once the bone heals, they can strengthen some stuff around it. So I don't think it's like this is, again, just like the doctor people that I've spoken to. I'm in the camp that I don't think this has tremendous impact on the future of Baker Mayfield's potential as the starting quarterback for the Browns. I do not think Case Keenum is the future there. He might be the guy for the next couple weeks. We know what Case Keenum is. I do think it throws an incredible wrench in the plans. 7-8 weeks ago, the Browns were, let's win our division. Let's make a run at the AFC title game and or Super Bowl. Let's figure out if our quarterback is like the guy, right? The guy that we can win games because of. And I think because of the Baker injury and all the other injuries, winning the division is you got to recalibrate your goals, so to speak. Is it still potential to get that done? Yes, but we have to be honest about where they are with all those injuries. And with the Baker thing, you go, okay, for the first 6 weeks, he didn't play well. And I would say that for 90% of that, it was attached to the shoulder and kind of the impact that that's had. So if he misses another game or two, then you're halfway through the season. So the evaluation, one of the most important parts of this season, is going to be very much so up in the air. So I still think Baker is the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns moving forward. I think it's crazy for people to think that they are just going to randomly move on from Baker Mayfield at the end of this season. I think it's what are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to go get that you think is a better option?
A lot of Ivy League people making decisions over there in Cleveland right now. Obviously, a couple that we know personally who are incredibly intelligent, both on the field, off the field, and everything like that. Andrew Berry has a massive decision to make because that roster is filled with talent. Now, speaking of, they were still favored going against a Denver Broncos team who had all their starters basically in the game. And this Denver Broncos team started 3-0 against Jets, Jags, and Giants. They've gone on an absolute slide. Teddy Bridgewater with a bad quad, bad foot. They didn't even think to put in Drew Lock. Broncos looked bad last night. As a team, as a culture, as an organization, don't you agree? And how do they get this thing fixed?
Well, I think they're missing 4 starters as a football team. I mean, they missed Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. I mean,
true.
They were 3-0 when they had those guys, and then Jeudy got hurt in week 3, and then Hamler got hurt in week 4. Once those two, this offense was built around the skill position guys. Good offensive line, really, really young and talented skill guys. That's why there was an attachment with another quarterback to them this offseason that was so intriguing. So I think the loss of those 3 receivers has had tremendous negative impact on the Broncos. Their defense has been disappointing. It has been incredibly disappointing. They were missing their starting 2 linebackers as well last night. So I think the injuries have had a big hit on their football team. But if Vic Fangio is going to continue to be the head coach and defensive coordinator, the defense got to play better. And it just has to play better. They got to find a way to close out football games, not give up so many explosive plays. Like if you throw, I said this yesterday on NFL Live, go opposite Patrick Surtain, you're going to feel good about your pass game. Surtain's playing really well, but I think the guys that are playing opposite him are getting targeted a little bit. So if Vic Fangio's calling card has been defense and it's not getting done, Chubb didn't play for the Broncos, Bradley Chubb. So they're down some important pieces.
I'm happy that you didn't just take to the internet last night and go fire Vic Fangio. That's kind of been your move this season.
Well, I was right on Matt Nagy. He fired himself that week as a play caller. I was right when I said you got to fire Freddie Kitchens. They fired him. I was right when I said fire Adam Gase. They fired him. So, I was right with the John Gruden stuff, unfortunately. That's not a bragging thing. They had to move on from him. Everyone knew that.
You did just put it into the win column for yourself, but I appreciate you stopping by. This weekend, guy that you know a lot about, I heard you tell the Matthew Stafford story again on NFL Live, which is real. It's awesome. He said, you can't make this throw, and he decided to do that. He said that to you while watching film. Kind of alpha you in there, but that is a good trash talk. I think that indicates what type of person Matthew Stafford is and his competitive level, and I love him. I'm a big fan of him. Jared Goff going back to L.A., Matthew Stafford playing against the Lions. Aaron Donald said he texted Jared Goff, and he knows what it is. I'm coming after him. How do you think this thing goes? You think Matthew Stafford has his biggest game yet as a Ram somehow? I don't want to say dancing on the Lions' graves, but this definitely means something to Matthew Stafford, right? This game means more? It has to.
Yeah, I'll let you look. This should come as no surprise. Matthew's got an ego. So does his head coach, Sean McVay. Those guys will try to make sure that this is a one-sided affair for sure. Not in a disrespectful way, but they will make sure that the narrative is we told you so coming out of that football game. So, yeah, I think Matthew can – if you watch the Lions on tape against the Bengals last week defensively, you're going, what are you guys trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? I think Matthew, I would be surprised if Matthew didn't get over 350. I could see him going over 400. I think Dan Campbell's comments about Jared are probably somewhat justified. But I also think he's playing with a very much so hand tied behind his back type of experience as a quarterback.
Okay, let's talk about Chiefs-Titans, the other big game of the weekend now. Derrick Henry coming off a 3-tud game on primetime television. He's the stud of that team. Ryan Tannehill not playing as great as he has in years past. Why is that? Do you think he's dead? And do you think the Chiefs potentially found something in the second half against the Washington football team? They're laughing in Patrick Mahomes' face now about that ridiculous interception. It feels like they might have found their level. How do you feel this game's going to work out? And what are your thoughts on the QBs over there?
Yeah, I thought Tannehill was just as good as Henry on Monday night anyway. Or was that Monday Night Football? Yeah, Monday Night Football. I thought he was just as good, especially in the second half. I thought Tannehill was spectacular.
Here we go.
I think if those guys, big fellas on the outside, stay healthy, that's a good thing because new offensive coordinator Todd Dahn, I think, is settling in a little bit. But, Julio and AJ have to stay healthy. AJ had some drops in the beginning of the year, too. So Tannehill's going to play really good football. The Titans are a good football team. I'd say this about the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, I'm not going to sit here and say that they found something, so to speak, but they actually played relatively good defensively. Outside of that one huge run, in the run game at least, outside of the one huge run, they played good. Dude, the Chiefs are fine. The Chiefs are a bad football team because they do stupid stuff. If and when they stop doing stupid stuff, which is hurting yourselves, those dumb turnovers, giving up big plays on defense strictly because you don't communicate or you're not on the same page, that's what bad teams do. Trust me, I've been on them. If they stop doing that stuff, which I think they will because of the coaching and the leadership, they're going to be completely fine. But they've got to stop doing that stuff. I trust in Mahomes. I trust in EB and Andy Reid. I trust in Matthew. And also, I would not be shocked if they were ultra aggressive in the next 9 to 10 days with the trade, right? They got a chance, obviously, to go make a run, but they have to go get either a big fella in the middle of their defensive line or a corner.
Okay, and who would you think is potentially on the trade block at this point?
I have no idea about that world, bro. Like defensive linemen or corners, that's above my.
Dan, everybody's got these fantasy answers. Oh, they need trading for somebody. I got no clue who it is, but he's out there somewhere.
I don't do fantasy. I can barely do my job. I'm not as talented as you.
Hey, you do a great job. And a lot of people are asking, whose thing is that you're wearing? There's no way that's yours. You purchased.
No,
that's your kids.
This is mine, man. This is Yep,
oh man, that's a good looking fit, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's a good looking fit. You love lacrosse, huh? Is that because you're trying to get your kids scholarships, or what are you trying to do? Like you just love the sport?
I'm trying to get my 9-year-old a scholarship. Nah, dude, my kid likes it, and I coached it last year, so they gave me this.
Good game. You like the game more than any other sport other than football?
For kids, yeah. I mean, I think it's fun. When I go to my kid's 9-year-old baseball game, sometimes I'm like, yo, this is rough. I mean, kid pitch 9-year-old baseball, you can get an hour, one inning being an hour, where, lacrosse, it's just a 1-hour game. Bing, 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 bing. And it's fast moving. Well, so for a person like me who has ADD, something like that, I like it better.
Yeah, but you got to go on a ball hunt afterwards, right? Don't you have to find all those balls that are lost. Up there where you guys live, they probably got peasants to do it for your kids. Though. You know what I mean? Up there in your world.
I mean, they play on a field with a fence. It's not like they play out in, open fields where there's never ending grass.
I've never been around a lacrosse community. I have no idea.
It's not real life.
Go ahead, Ty.
Dan, what do you think is going to ultimately happen with San Francisco? Jimmy G's back, but I feel like if they lose a game or two, they eliminate themselves from that NFC West. Do you think we'll potentially see Trey Lance kind of just get the reins the rest of the season, or is he so far from being ready that that's not going to happen?
Yeah, first of all, I think Sunday Night Football is a must-win for both teams, both Indy and San Francisco. I've been adamant. I think if Indy wins on Sunday night, they'll make the playoffs. And I think San Francisco's in a unique situation for a must-win as well, sitting 2-3, like you mentioned. If they lose, they fall to 2-4. I do think the conversation will get warm around Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, and I think they're both really good, and I think Kyle is outrageous. If they lose, you've got to be honest about what the future holds. You know what Jimmy G is and who Jimmy G is. Jimmy G has not been great this year. He's been inaccurate. He's had a couple interceptions, and he's had plenty of other throws that should have been picked off. And the offense for many parts of games, like if you watch San Francisco's offense with Jimmy G this year, you're like, okay, here comes a screen pass, because it feels like for stretches that's all that they can get done is screen passes. And so, I mean, I think if they lose on Sunday night, a lot of that conversation gets attached to what is the comfort level future-wise for Kyle and John Lynch, because, to move. Well,
they just traded 3 first-rounders. They just traded 3 future first-rounders. There's no way they get rid of them now, right? There's no way.
I don't think so, but you know the NFL. I mean, it's a crazy world, man. Like, you know the NFL, so I don't think so. But I don't know if I'm exactly correct in this, but that would mean the only winning season would have been the Super Bowl run. So I'm assuming they lose, they fall to 2-4. Okay, let's play Trey, and there's some up and downs this year, and they don't get to a winning season. I think that would be their 5th season. This would be their 5th year, and there would be one winning season. So, that's just the reality of the NFL is the expectations become so outrageous. I wouldn't fire Kyle. Absolutely not. So I think if they lose, yeah, man, it's time to go for Trey Lance. Is Trey Lance ready? Again, I don't ever think any young kid is ready. But if you watch him play, he has gotten better and almost by the rep, better and better. He started the Arizona game 2 weeks ago. First, I think, drive or second drive of the game, he airmails an absolute fastball for interception. But then they should have beat Arizona outside of a couple fourth down plays that got stopped.
All right, let's talk about Arizona. Let's talk about Arizona. Unbelievable. Kyler Murray seems to have taken it to the next level. But I think the big conversation, not just Kyler, Cliff Kingsbury seems to be much better. It seems like he's more granted, I heard on Flying Coach podcast with Schrags and McVay that at one point Cliff Kingsbury was worried about sideline passes for a potential Instagram thought before the game. Now it seems like he's more invested, that whole team's. What have you seen out of the Arizona Cardinals that make you go, this team could go on a real run? Last year seemed like they lacked consistency, not just players, but coaches, I think.
No doubt.
It seems like they now have it all in there. What do you think it was, and what do you think the turning point is?
All right, so coaching-wise, I think Cliff has definitely developed an NFL passing game, an NFL passing playbook that wasn't strictly about, hey, we're just going to try to create space and we'll go get the ball out quickly to the perimeter and let guys make tackles. You can do that in college football because if your athletes are better, you'll be successful. So I think you can see a much more concept-based pass game that is built with Kyler being able to go through progressions. Number 2, the trade for Rodney Hudson has been absolutely enormous in the middle of their offensive line. One of the reasons why they're having so much success on offense is Kyler is playing so much better as a passer from the pocket. It's because he has comfort and trust in the people in front of him to give him that time. I think they're one of the more unique teams in the NFL. You know me, like I'm always trying to find out why offenses are difficult to stop before the ball gets snapped. I think they're one of the most unique offenses in the NFL that they can play finesse ball. You know, they'll make you play 53 1/3 sideline to sideline, but also play physical or power, like a finesse power team, you know, because the offensive line will be physical. And so A.J. Green's being asked to make 4 plays a game. Rondale Moore is being asked to get 8 touches a game. Obviously, Hop is fantastic. The 2 backs that they play are really good. So, you know, a lot of good pieces, physical offensive line. They stress you vertically and horizontally every play. And then their defense is really good. Their defense is super athletic. JJ's been dominant. Their blitz scheme that you got to figure out on defense is super difficult. So
maybe we're just better. Maybe we're just better.
That's why we win.
That's what everybody win. Maybe we do this. Maybe we're just better. So JJ was saying when he's mic'd up. He's awesome when he's mic'd up. It is literally like he is just flips a switch and becomes like a movie character.
Yeah. Personality, He becomes The Rock.
That's a fascinating question. Do you think The Rock is always The Rock? Do you think J.J. Watt's always The Rock, or just whenever he's on the field?
I think The Rock is always The Rock. Like, I think it's just after years and years and years, he's become that person. I just think it is who he is. I would imagine J.J.'s that way as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what J.J.'s like off the field, but I know as soon as he gets on there is massive amounts of shit talk. There is a massive amounts of he's completely reckless and careless with his body. We all have seen those videos of him just bleeding profusely out of his face. What a pickup by the Cardinals. It seems like thus far. Chandler Jones, is he back? Wasn't he hurt or something?
Yeah, he was hurt last week.
He had COVID. No, he was on the COVID list, right, last week?
We didn't play last week.
Did he survive?
I can say that for sure.
Did he survive?
I hope so.
Oh, I haven't heard.
Let me see.
Such an idiot, man.
Chandler.
Whoa.
How come you guys over there at ESPN don't ever worry about the survival rate of these COVID lists? You always say, on the COVID, not playing. Well, what if he fucking doesn't live? Like, you guys ever talk about that?
I think that they're just communicating information of why a guy is not available or available. I don't think it's their job to declare he's going to die or not.
No, whoa. Worldwide leader, we don't need you to be declaring death on anybody. We're just saying there should be a little bit more thought on whether or not the survive thing will happen. Hopefully Chandler does survive. We're going to a break on Sirius XM. We'll see you in the next hour.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Okay, we're still live on YouTube. Go ahead. We just had to get to that hard out there on Sirius XM.
Okay. Can you stop having so many people on my Twitter mentions call me a stooge?
Listen, I get called a stooge.
Yeah.
These are their
I'm 20
friends.
times a day. 20 times a day. It never.
Well, stop
I was
saying
never called
stupid
stooge.
stuff. I mean, that is something we got to think. Stop saying
When
stupid
have I said
stuff.
stupid this year?
Dan, we don't have enough time.
Patriots
Yes,
are
we
top
do.
5 offense.
Yeah, you said Aaron Rodgers and the Packers aren't a top 5 offense. I mean, that's how you started the season. Oh, let me say something stupid to start the year is what you did. And everybody's like, oh, Stooge Orlovsky's coming out to play this year. I think that is, you kind of set the precedent in that particular case early. And they might have set you up because the graphic they did was just the quarterbacks, not the offenses. And you had Mac Jones up there. I forget who else you had. And Aaron
Mac's
Rodgers.
playing good, huh? He's playing good.
Yeah, that offense definitely better than the Packers, right? Definitely.
I don't want to go that far.
Stooge! That's what people will say, though. You're a stooge for that.
I swung and missed on that one. I agree with that.
But anytime you step into the batter's box like 1,000 times a day, which is what I think a lot of people are saying, like, Dan, you don't need to step into the batter's box for every single thing. I think that is kind of what.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I'll share a story with you. So when I got into this world, a lot of people told me, like, hey, man, don't focus on trying to be right. It's not your job to be right.
Who told you?
Just give analysis. And I thought to myself, I don't agree with that. If I'm going to try to be one of the best people in the world, I'm going to try to be right. So if I don't strain to be right and I'm scared to be wrong, I'm never going to say things that will end up being right when other people couldn't say them. So
Yeah, but
I'm okay being wrong on some stuff.
In lieu of taking a shot at shit you might not understand, we're just saying you should swing at better pitches sometimes. Because you step into the batter's box whenever there's a pitch coming that maybe you're not as educated on as other things that you could potentially be right on. Don't you think that's the case?
Yeah, but if we're going to use the baseball analogy, if I'm marked 3 out of 10 times, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame. So
Yeah, that's the problem, though. That's why 7 out of 10 times you're called a stooge. It's different.
I'm just asking, can you ask your people to bring a different name? Bring a different name. Get your own stuff.
Stooge is better than Shipbird.
Yeah. Fuck Bird, too.
Yeah, but at least it would be something that they thought of themselves.
You and JB made it right, huh? You guys got back on the same page. That's good news. I'm happy to hear that.
I called JB and told him if he didn't keep my name out of his mouth, I saw many weeks of him taking a hot steamer on my name, and I was like, yo, why does this dude hate me? That was literally the first words out of my mouth. I texted you. I said, yo, can you ask him for his number, this and that? And I shot him a text. I was like, hey, Coach JB, I think I just said, Coach, this is Dan Orlovsky. Can I give you a call later? And he's like, yeah, man, blah, 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 that. And I called him, and the first thing on my mouth was like, dude, why do you hate me? And he just started laughing. I was like, oh, this would be a good conversation.
I want to let you know, you two are literally the polar opposite end of the whites. You know what I mean? I mean, you two are exact opposite ends of the whites, and it's nice to hear that you two could get back on the same page. I enjoy you both thoroughly. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Dan, you think it's time for Miami to let go of Tua? Because with all these Deshaun Watson conversations, it seems like they're just trying to ship him out of town.
Absolutely not. I think it's insanity almost that Miami is going, okay, we got a quarterback that we drafted 5th overall last year that has started, I don't know, Tua started 10 games right now, 12 games. His offensive line is still bad. He is just starting to get some good skill position players. He's had some moments in the NFL that he's played good. And we are going to move on from him for this player. And I think the conversation surrounding, you better be right with your information, man. You better be right, because you can't cover up or hide or shield the allegations that are coming with Deshaun Watson. And I have said this, and maybe I'm by myself on this, and I don't care what people think about it. I've got a 6-year-old daughter. She's 6 today. If I was in that locker room and they traded for him, I would want to go upstairs and have a very intense and real conversations with our ownership, especially if I'm a veteran, ownership and a leader, and our general manager and head coach going, what are we doing? Because, I want to win football games more than anybody, but I want to do it with the people that, I know what they're about. And I just think it's crazy, man.
Hey, and by the way, Dan, we've been on the same page there. We talk about it differently. I don't know how any team could jeopardize any future picks or what they have going on for somebody that has so many serious allegations against them off the field. Not just serious, by the way, the most serious of
Real.
the most real of real, and it's 20 plus. And I don't know how any team is allegedly involved there, how you would give anything up. And to your point about your daughter, there's a lot of women that work in a lot of these NFL buildings. So I just think it would be I don't know. That's been a wild conversation piece that has somehow remained happening, that teams are interested. It makes no sense to any of us, though, Dan. Happy birthday to your beautiful daughter, by the way. She's one of the most cute children I've ever seen in my entire life, who's also an absolute savage. She just ran her head right into a corner of a table, laughed through it, got staples on that thing, and then she was fighting all her brothers like the next day. It's insane. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's the best. I'll make sure that you say that she knows that you pass that along to her. I appreciate it, bud.
All the lacrosse kids, to hell with them. But to your daughter, happy birthday. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, ESPN's quarterback authority, Dan Orlovsky. We appreciate you, man. Stooge!
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Hour 2 on this Feel Good Friday, October 22nd, 2021, years after the year 0. We'll begin right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Shout out to you for listening and watching wherever the hell you may be. Joining us now from Manatee, Ohio. Maybe not, actually. I have no idea where he is. College football national champion, Super Bowl champion, AJ Hawk.
AJ! Oh, wow.
What's happening?
That's awesome.
You hear me?
Yeah. So our weather's terrible here in Indiana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I assume across the Midwest it's terrible. Mm-hmm. A lot of sun coming through that back blind right there. Are you out on the coast? Look at you got the new iPhone too.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this video. I got like picture in picture going. How do I get this out of here?
I don't know, but you look amazing and you sound really good too. I just want to let you know that I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you are, but this is an incredible setup by the old AJ Hawk here.
Yeah, I've been working on it. I figured I'd use my phone. It's the best camera I have, no question, compared to my old school laptop. So, yeah, hopefully it works out.
That's the problem, too. Whenever I'm somewhere, I want to use my phone because the phone camera is so much better. But then, like Twitter and everything, it's kind of it's a gift and a curse with how good the phone is, to be honest. And I think we'll kind of have to move along. We appreciate you joining us wherever you're at. Did you watch it? Oh, look at those big ass mangled. Disgusting. Did you watch the game last night, AJ? Your thoughts? D'Ernest Johnson's a guy. What are they going to do with him when Chubb and Hunter back? They got a plethora of options in that backfield. Case Keenum seemed to be able to kind of rein the horse down the field numerous different times. That game, I think, scores a lot closer than what it actually was if you're watching along there. Browns seem to might have turned some things around. Broncos might be dead. Your thoughts, AJ, on this Feel Good Friday?
Well, it's definitely a cagey match, as Gump likes to say, I think, especially throughout. It seemed pretty cagey, but I think, don't you think, the story of the night, D'Ernest, that dude, and then I'm seeing all the stuff about him and the DMs trying to get in the AAF, all of this stuff. What a cool story, everything about him. I didn't know, and do we know, he rushed for almost 150, right? Have they known this guy is this good?
I think everybody in the building, I think that came out last night. A lot of his teammates were like, we've seen this guy every single day. He's electric. But in practice, especially at the running back position, you never really know, right? Because nobody's really going full go. There's thud. Maybe he has good vision. Maybe he has good instincts. But you never know whenever the lights come on, when the game actually matters, what's going to happen. Especially he's a little bit undersized, I think. So I don't think anybody fully knew what it was going to be like. But that offensive line said, hey, let's go and eat. Let's go and do this thing. Let's go and dominate. Batonio, he got a false start, and they had a legal formation 3 times last night. 1 on a punt, 2 on offense. So Stefanski's going to have to figure that out. But that offensive line almost taking it as a shot that maybe they weren't supposed to win or have success. I think that goes in it. But D'Ernest Johnson is a hell of a story. A hell of a story out of Immokalee, Florida, which is where Edgerrin James is from. I learned a lot about that. I actually said Like you said, he's a South Florida boy, right?
Yeah.
South Florida boys run. Like that is what South Florida guys do. They move, they make things. They're gritty, they're tough, they're explosive, they're fast. They've been through a lot to get to where they are, let alone him having to beg for jobs in the AFL and now getting a chance to have his night on Thursday Night Football with LeBron James tweeting him and everything. What a story, what a superstar. But now going forward, they got two all-pro running backs already. So does that immediately put Dearness Johnson on the trade block? Because that's coming up November 2nd.
November 2nd, right?
Yeah, that's very quick. That's very quick. What is Andrew Berry going to do with Dearness Johnson at this point?
Well, when are his studs? When do both studs come back?
Yeah, who knows?
Do we have any idea of their timetable?
Nah, I'm not 100% sure. Last night it didn't sound like it was going to be for too long. I think just the way Joe and Troy were talking about it. But you start thinking Odell Beckham, what's going to happen with Odell? It looked like he hurt himself again, that shoulder where he tried to make the catch and he landed on it. That's the same thing we're talking about with Baker, right? Like with Baker's injury, they can try to get that inflammation down. This is before we knew he had a broken humerus. But with Baker's injury, as soon as he takes one hit, that thing's right back into it, which is what's going to happen in football. I think Odell Beckham, we had similar questions, but they got a lot of decisions to make over there in Cleveland. They just got a huge win, maybe turn their season back around, but there's a lot of shit that could pop off over there.
Well, on the other side, though, the Broncos, are they dead? I know Vaughn got hurt, dodged a bullet, said he will be back. He's not like a season ender, but what are they? Do they have a chance? Does Fangio have a chance to keep his job?
Are you holding that phone up with your right hand right now?
No.
Okay.
Does it sound like I'm covering the speaker or something?
No, you just had your arm up like this. I think you were relaxing. I thought you were potentially holding the phone like this, and it was the most stable hold of all time. I was very impressed with it. But on the Denver Broncos side, overreactions happen after every single game, especially for a fan base. But you lose 4 in a row, and your defense looks at most times of the night like they're just not going to get a stop against a kind of a thrown-together crew over there on Cleveland. And Vic Fangio is a defensive guy. I think it's hot in the kitchen. I think it is very, very hot in the kitchen for Vic Fangio right now.
It feels super hot in the kitchen. I hate that coaches don't get the time that they need usually to build the culture, build the team. But the Broncos, I don't think they need to blow up the staff and do anything, but they have to do something, don't they? But they need to get back on the map. The Broncos are looked at like an organization that I think is highly respected because of what John Elway was able to do for so long. Don't you think people have always taken the Broncos serious? They've never been a laughingstock.
I don't think so. I don't think they've ever been a laughingstock, but they've always. Now this is from a national media and from me in Indianapolis, and obviously when Peyton went over there, and all you saw was Peyton and Denver Broncos stuff forever because he went to 2 Super Bowls there, 1-1. That is a nightmare situation for Jim Irsay. I assume as he was watching that, he was just like, "Come on." Why did this have to happen? Why did he have to still be so good? That is tough. But the Denver Broncos, they're in the same division as the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have been deemed the next dynasty. Now, the Chiefs might have found that again. Maybe they believe that again like everybody else did. But that division is not getting any worse for some time. Herbert is in Bisaccia, and who knows what's going on over there. They don't have a quarterback long-term yet. Maybe they'll re-up Derek Carr. That division's not getting easier at all. And if the Broncos continue to potentially slide for whatever reason, whether Teddy Bridgewater has bad quad, bad foot, they have a couple weapons out, a defense side of the ball can't continue to slide, I assume their fan base is going to get loud. I'm not 100% sure, but I assume their fan base is going to look around the division and say, how come it feels like everybody's getting good and we just continue to stink? But this is why the Broncos were in every single quarterback conversation, right? This is why they were potentially in on Deshaun, potentially in on Aaron, potentially in on Dahn. They were in on every conversation. I think they know it. But Drew Lock not even getting a thought of playing last night in the second half when Teddy was wobbling around and balls seemed to be falling out of where they're supposed to be. That is also very telling for what that building looks like right now as well.
So what? I don't know. Are they going to blow up the whole team? Is everything going to be blown up where coaching staff? Once again, I hate doing that with the coaching staff. I don't think that's the answer.
Agreed.
Definitely. It's not always the answer, and I'm not saying it's the answer here, but something's going to happen, and it doesn't look like – are they going to go into a full rebuild mode? We know they're going to have to figure out the quarterback situation.
And if you go into a rebuild mode with that division, you're just going to get stomped, for 2-3 years? And who knows how I don't know the Broncos' salary cap situation. I guess they were going to be able to afford Aaron Rodgers whenever that whole thing was happening, but I don't know what they're going to do. Very happy Von Miller is not seriously damaged. It has any serious damage. Him walking off the field was fascinating to me. You know, that seemed like it was like a slow walk. I'm like, all right, so he's telling people he doesn't want any help. It can't be that bad if he's putting weight on it. But they didn't put him back in out of an air of caution. They said he could have played more, maybe. I don't. Von Miller's their star. He is very open this past week as being the best player on their roster. I have to ball out, and then everybody else will ball out. When we were playing good, I was playing good. When we don't, that didn't happen last night because he got injured. And I think the Cleveland Browns offensive line, by the way, took that as quite a, okay, how you doing? And the Browns offensive line, without Conklin, still a loaded bunch because that was their glaring weakness in years past, and Andrew Berry went all the way in. Bad day to be a Broncos fan, great day to be a Browns fan, I think. But there's still so much left of the season and nobody has a clue what's going to happen. Let's pivot away from last night's game. And let's talk about some news stories happening around the NFL, AJ. Aaron Donald texted Jared Goff and said, get ready, I'm going to fucking break you in half. It's awesome. That's a big game this weekend, man. The Lions never really involved in big games unless it's on Thanksgiving. Okay, that is not something that happened. Thanksgiving, they're playing. This is a massive game because the amount of storylines in here. Just talked to Orlovsky last night. It was great to have Orlovsky.
Stooge. It's been a while. It's been a while, right?
Yeah, I didn't want... he had to ask for permission to come on the show, and I don't want to put a friend in a position where they would have to ask for something because that makes me lose respect for the person. You know what I mean?
If they have to ask to come on, you're saying?
Yeah. And I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want to
It's a weird thing. ESPN is weird about their guy. I know.
Not anymore. Hey, not anymore.
Yeah, now they're good. They used to be exclusive, like, hey, they don't want you jumping on their stuff. Now they're cool, right?
Which, by the way, I understood. I understand that. That's your network. You do what you got to do. But I didn't like the whole process of, like, me texting a friend of mine and be like, hold on one second. I got to go ask, like, my dad or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I am not putting you in that situation.
Who's their dad? Who's their dad at ESPN?
I guess they had different, I don't know. It was interesting to hear from. I guess there was a couple of, and they were always like, yes, I think they were always told yes. After the immediate ban that happened, they were always told yes. But I didn't like the thought of some higher power thinking that they control. Like, and I didn't like my friends who are adults, accomplished, who have been very successful, being put in a position where they have to be like, is there any way I could go talk to my friend of 10 years? Like, I didn't want that. So now that has changed. I'm very thankful for that. Great to have Orlovsky back in. Stooge Orlovsky back in. He's got 1,000 Stooges tweeted to him already.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about he's sick of our people tweeting him Stooge after he says everything. We're like, well,
that's smart. That's smart. They'll quit now, won't they?
Yeah. Turns out it has had an opposite effect. I do believe it has had an opposite effect. But he talked about knowing McVay and Matthew Stafford, how they're going to want to hang 4 hunch on Detroit because they made a massively aggressive trade this past offseason. Get Jared Goff, a guy we've already paid out of here. We'll even give you more picks. Give us Matthew Stafford. Let's go ahead and do this. Everybody's going to want to prove that they were right this weekend. And I think the Lions are potentially going to be on the wrong end of a little bit of a spite prove it game by Stafford and McVay. That thing could get ugly, especially with the defense. Jalen, Aaron, they all know, like, hey, McVay's our guy. He made a big decision to do this. I assume they love Matthew Stafford. There's been some reactions from Jalen this season where it looked like Matthew Stafford's like, we have a fucking guy here. Everybody's going to want to prove something, and I just feel bad for Jared Goff going back to the golf course in L.A. and potentially getting run out of town yet again.
Well, the tough thing for Jared Goff, and I don't want to see it going off their last press conference that MCDC had, like, it's possible Jared Goff gets pulled in the second half if he's playing bad, right? I would hope it doesn't happen. But
no. Jeez. In front of the golf course?
I don't want it to happen. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it should. The timing is very interesting coming off of last week's presser.
Get Drew Blah in there.
Could you imagine David Blah going in relief of Jared Goff and his trip back to L.A.?
Yeah. And lighting it up and getting the Lions their first win.
Jesus. No. We were talking about that last night with Case Keenum. Like, hey, it's going to get loud. If Case Keenum has a big night. Now, he couldn't hit over 225 yards, obviously, because he was handing off to a guy that couldn't be fucking tackled.
Right.
And that was the fastest game of all time. 10-game parlay, got our asses beat. But if Case Keenum went in there, we knew it was going to get loud. We knew it was going to get loud. Because people would say, hey, if Case Keenum can do this with this team, not that Case Keenum's the answer, but maybe... You know, Baker's not the answer. And we're not saying that's our opinions. We're just telling you, hey, this is reality. This is what's going to happen. If Goff gets benched in this game going back to L.A., I do not want to be a part. Now,
It can't. That's not going to happen. That can't.
You just put it in the universe. You just put it in the universe.
I know. I'm sorry about that. I should have done it. Jared, MCDC, the whole line, the family of Jared Goff. I should not have done that. It feels like this is the simulation theory. The fact that MCDC has this presser last week and says he needs to step up. He has a long pause, and now he's playing his old team. Like, that's what worries me.
A lot of pressure on old Jared Goff. I'm sure he feels that they could potentially go completely defeated, be the only franchise in the history of the NFL to go 0-17. They are well on their way to potentially do that. I feel like earlier in the year we had a lot more hope that the Lions were maybe worth a fuck.
did.
Now it's like, oh no, same old Lions.
Yeah, same old Lions. And just think about how massive that trade was. Like, the Rams came out of nowhere, and it's completely changed the entire landscape of the NFL.
Oh, but remember, why are they giving away picks? And AJ, you and I have been on this side of the fence for a long time.
Yes.
Fuck the future picks, okay? And you can get those back. You can find those later if you need it. Now, allegedly, Orlovsky was pointing out something that was very fascinating. 1 year out of 5 in the Niners, Lynch and Shanahan have had a winning season. So is that going to get hot up there if they continue to lose this year? Like, they go to 2-4 this week because they've already had a bye, and that thing continues to spiral somehow. Is it going to get hot for Lynch and Shanahan, even though they traded away 3 future picks? And I think that is potentially the case, especially if you have the mindset of us. Fuck those picks. If you can get a guaranteed player now, and that's why I think the difference is between trading up in the draft to get a question mark versus trading picks to get a vet, a proven vet, which we both, as guys who have been around, like, I would give up every future 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounder for now until eternity if you can give me a veteran that I think is going to win us games this year. And that is what the Rams did. The Rams said, fuck it. We'll do everything. Just get us a guy that we think can take us over the hump. They might do that, AJ. That legitimately might happen when in the moment, all anybody was saying is, this is a waste of draft capital on Matthew Stafford and everything like that. It's like they're a completely different team. They're a completely different team now. How do people say that early? You know what I mean?
It has a completely different feel. Everything about it, top to bottom of the team, is different now. And yeah, give away picks, whatever. But also, a big thing they did was they got out from under that Jared Goff contract pretty much too. Like, they gave him a ton of money, and I'm sure they're still on the hook for how much this year and next. I don't know how that all works out, but how many? What was it? A year and a half after they signed him to a big old deal, they're shopping around trying to get him out of there.
Not even that. And think about it. Less than a year and a half after they signed him to a big old deal, they benched him in a playoff game.
Yeah.
So, I almost forget about it. Like, that's when that was happening. I remember thinking, like, man, they're in an impossible situation. How are they going to get out from under this?
And then they go down to Mexico and they say, fuck it, we'll give them a bunch of picks. We'll get us out of here. That is literally what Sean McVay did, is like, I cannot take this contract against our salary cap anymore. I cannot take the fact that I benched this guy in the playoffs because I didn't think he was ready or the right guy. I think who'd they put in there? The guy that ended up in the neck.
Wolf. Yeah, hungry like the wolf.
Wolf won in there over Jared Goff. They're paying Goff $100 million. It's like, and that wasn't that big of a conversation because I think they were building up the injury that Goff had. Biggest game of the year. Can't have a quarterback that has a banged up, bruised thumb or whatever. Then at the end of the game, you had to go in, took the snaps cleanly. Handed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Handed the ball off?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to what?
Well, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know what hand.
Hot the ball off?
Held the ball off. Yeah, I didn't know. Handed the ball off?
Mm-hmm.
Handed the ball off.
Is this like a hanged situation?
Yeah, it is.
What's the proper use of that? That one always throws me off.
Hanged.
Well, listen, we don't need to talk about any of that, by the way.
No, I'm saying, like, hey, the Jets hanged 200 points on them. No, they
hung.
Yeah.
Fuck, the English language is tough. Listen, I was trying to explain the pound sign to a DoorDash delivery person on my gate code because I got to set a 30-second code for them. And they didn't know what the pound sign was, so I said hashtag. And they didn't know what that was either. They thought hash was hashish. They thought there was drugs out there. I mean, the amount of words that potentially, you know what I mean, all cross.
Well, kids don't know. Like, Mitt's generation doesn't know that hashtag was the pound sign.
Yeah.
They don't. There's no way they do that, right?
Yeah, so we try to get a good read on the picture of the driver. You know, how old, what it would potentially be. And then if the English isn't fantastic, I feel like that is a real challenge to try to get through there. I start giving out the code that we have to set for 30 seconds in Spanish sometimes. I feel really good. I feel really good about it. But anyways, the English...
Could you run me through real quick a Spanish code that you have to tell these people?
Uno, yeah, it's a whole, it's just numbers. It's just numbers, but it has to be done in a 30-second time period. So I can turn on the code for them to punch in for like 30 seconds. It's like a delivery set thing or whatever, right? So trying to break down the language barrier while also get the code in 30 seconds has been a bit difficult.
Can we paint the hashtag button like white? Like hit the white button.
Blanco.
Can you press from your phone?
Smart.
Can you open it from your phone for him?
See, that's broken. So that is something that we do have to get fixed. We used to have the ability to go ahead and punch something in. Somehow somebody hit the thing. It did a thing.
The 30-second code thing's pretty fancy. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I enjoyed it. It's part of the system, but it has become quite a feat because like 28, it's like a shot clock now, you know? So it's like we get to 25 seconds and they're like, K? I'm like, I'm going to have to reset it. Just forget it. And they're like, what? I'm like, So I hang up, call them back. All right, let's do this thing again. Let's get back to this. I think we made great progress here for the first 28 seconds. Let's get to this next one. Whatever the case. Handed the ball off and threw the ball well. He was not too injured to play in that game. Anybody else, any other quarterback that has been paid $100 million or so would have been in that game. So I think that is where the first riff between McVay and Goff was made public. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes, but in my eyes, McVay's going to want to prove a point, as is Matthew Stafford and the whole Rams organization.
And but the Rams are just a better team too. So like that's the biggest part about it. Like right now they have players that are playing at a higher level than the Lions do.
What's the spread on that game?
16.5 right now.
Oh my gosh. For an
Not
NFL
enough.
game?
Not enough.
Jesus.
Not
There's
enough.
2 of those this week.
Zito's telling me we have some breaking news as well. Let's go ahead and dive into that. Tom Pelissero, the Arrow, is reporting that Bucs coach Bruce Arians says tight end Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, Levante David, and Richard Sherman are all hot for Sunday versus the Bears.
Damn.
No Gronk, no AB, no Levante David. Richard Sherman, we kind of knew. They didn't put him on IR, so that must have been like some grade of a pool of a hammy. I don't know how that thing's graded. I thought 3 weeks would have been a proper amount of time for that potentially heal, so you put him on IR. They did not put him on IR, so I guess he can come back whenever. Those are some powerful players on the Bucs that going into, is it in Chicago? No, it's in Tampa.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, they still got a lot of weapons.
A lot of weapons.
Still got
They'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be okay. I mean, that is breaking news, though, from Tom Pelissero, the Arrow, about what's going on this weekend. To be honest, I didn't even know the Bucs were playing the Bears because there's only like 3 games that matter. Chiefs, Titans, Niners, Colts matter because that could be the end of a season for 2 teams that had very high hopes early. I think the Bengals, Ravens are massive. Bucs and Bears. The Bucs are without a lot. What's that spread? 12.5?
Yeah.
So it feels like the Bears seem like the right team to bet on there. If you had to pick there, because 12.5 is a lot of points. 16.5 is a lot of fucking points that's going on there. Texans, Cardinals, that thing's 17.5. What is this college football weekend in the NFL?
It's a tough weekend for the board.
I mean, it was
We got to make our picks today too, don't we?
Yeah, at some point. Same game parlay, by the way, is not great, but the Super Boost has hit. So we got to remember that, AJ, as we look at this slate. That's a lot of points being given. Oh, this is a big tease weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a big teaser
Packers
weekend.
will be a big tease game. Patriots will be a big tease
Bears
game.
go up. Cardinals put 7 more on that thing. I mean,
Ravens.
you could
Ravens
make
are a
it
big
24.5 point spread. I mean, that's a lot if you tease that thing a little bit. This might be a big teaser weekend, huh, Gump?
Hell yeah, big one. Patriots, Ravens, Packers, all down to a pick 'em. I love that one. Plus 130.
There it is.
All right, we'll make our selections in the next hour, AJ. Get ready for it. We have to get to a break because there's a man straight out of Compton that'll be joining us on the other side. I can't wait for this, AJ.
I almost forgot it was Coach JB Fridays. I did not forget. I'm very excited about it. I've been texting with JB now too a little bit, so it's been fun.
Is the relationship building with old JB?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's following him on Twitter too. Entertains me very much.
He's wide open. I mean, he is wide open, which is what we appreciate. He is his own.
Well, I love that he's so authentic. He tweets, he types exactly how he would say it out of his mouth too. Like that's what my favorite thing is.
And normally, by the way, if it's a video, he'll type out like the first couple sentences of the video, and then you get a chance to kind of see the extended tweet in the video as he continues to yell at whatever is happening. We'll talk to him about the college football weekend that is. How were his picks last week? Pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Not bad.
Not bad.
Is JB getting hot? Are we getting cold? I think not. I hope so. We'll see you in 4 minutes with Coach JB on this Feel Good Friday. See you then. Out of Philadelphia is one of the biggest inspirations walking around the internet. Gio, the podcast. Okay, so you're 14 years old.
Yep.
You're from Philadelphia.
Yep.
big time Eagles fan, podcaster. You were Carson Wentz's number one fan.
Yeah. Yesterday, the AO1 invited me, and Carson invited me to the game, and I got to go on the sideline and meet Carson again, and he gave me a football.
Let's go! Yeah! You're obviously full of energy, full of optimism, full of upbeat, good vibes.
Yeah.
What do you go through on a day-to-day?
I've had 20 surgeries in my life, so it hasn't been easy. I have a condition called SJS, Short-Stampede syndrome, and it's basically like muscular dystrophy with dwarfism. My elbows are dislocated. My left hip is dislocated. I had to get my right hip reconstructed. The reason I'm so optimistic is because life is too short to focus on the negativity.
Let's go! I'm sorry to hear that you have to be tougher than all of us on the day-to-day, but I am so incredibly thankful that you keep that mindset. How'd you develop a love for football?
We've always been a football family, but then when I started having surgeries, I started watching football, and then I just kind of fell in love.
What does the rest of the season look like for the Indianapolis Colts, you think? Carson's going to keep himself safe out there?
Carson's going to have his best NFL season here in Indy.
Why is that?
He loves it here, and he's having fun. And when Carson Wentz is having fun, he plays his best.
Okay, and how about the Philadelphia Eagles?
I think they got a little developing to do with him.
Are there any players that you'd like to get on your podcast?
Brian Dawkins.
Oh. Is he your favorite Eagle of all time?
Him, Carson, and Zach Ertz are my top three.
Oh, Zach Ertz. Damn,
so sorry.
Yeah.
Why is everybody getting traded out that you like? What's the deal?
I don't know.
You're really, really good at this. What's the name of the podcast?
Philly Sports with Giovanni.
One last message to somebody out there who maybe doesn't view life the right way, you think?
I'd just say find your happiness and find the thing that inspires you, like I found football, and just try to look on the optimistic side.
Hey, you absolutely crush it every single day. You crushed it in here. We appreciate you. We hope you loved Indianapolis, Indiana. Come back whenever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, Gio the podcaster. I'm Roman, a men's health brand that can dance very well and make you the best you possible. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness? Dahn, we got something for that. Herpes. See ya. Premature ejaculation gone. No more coming too quick. Allergies as well. And that's not all. We have clinically tested supplements for everything, including erectile dysfunction. Come on! Bye-bye! GetRoman.com/Pat. Be the best you possible.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
It's Feel Good Friday, and Celsius Energy has us ready for SmackDown and the greatest weekend of all time.
Hell yeah.
Might have to bring a couple extras for Michael Cole tonight.
Oh yeah.
He called a 7-hour show in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia just yesterday. Dry air, yelling, excitement, a lot of magic happened, and tonight he's in Wichita, Kansas. From Saudi Arabia to Kansas and all the towns in between, Michael Cole will be ready to go. I'm going to bring him a Celsius. Celsius put together a promo for all of us, and it's the best promo they've ever put together. 10 of their best flavors are all 20% off at the link in the description here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. That means peach vibe, watermelon, grape rush, and wildberry, all 20% off. The stuff is delicious, and the office has been running on it for months. Just remember to mix in some waters.
Yes, have to. Big.
Have to. AJ.
I agree with you. I learned that firsthand too last time I came in studio.
I mean, it is diesel. You are getting a delicious tasting energy drink that'll send you with enough energy to get you through a wall or 5, but you need to mix in some waters because it could potentially overrun your entire blood system.
It's going to dehydrate you.
Today is the last day to jump. Oh, today is the last day.
Whoa.
Go to link in the description. Use promo code 20LiveFit. That's 20LIVEFIT for 20% off your order at the link in the description here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Shout out to Celsius. Shout out to you. Mix in some waters. That is so delicious tasting. They have to be lying about what's in it. It makes no sense at all how great it is, how delicious it is, and the energy you get from Celsius.
But again, mix in some waters.
Need it. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, the founder of the Slapdick podcast, Slapdick Cigars, Slapdick Whiskey, Last Chance U fame, a man that I met on the streets of Rancho Cucamonga just a week ago. Ladies and gentlemen, straight out of Compton, Coach Jason Brown.
What up, fellas?
Hey, you ever have a Celsius energy drink? You don't do energy drinks, huh? You just smoke cigars at 8 a.m. How you doing? Keep it moving?
Whiskey and cigars, man. Fucking energy drink.
Shout out to Celsius. Celsius. JB, what's going on in your world? It looks like the college football slate stinks this weekend. What's that all about?
So does the NFL, man. It looks like they're both kind of shitty weekend, huh?
Yeah, what are you thinking? What are you going to get into? What are you looking at the games? Are you chilling this weekend? How do you feel?
Yeah, I like this guy.
Oh, today your birthday.
Come on.
Never song for you.
He beats the Island Brothers guy.
No!
Oh, yeah.
How come you don't like the Island Boys?
He's singing Snoop Dogg's birthday song, bro.
48, 49, 50, happy birthday.
But watch when he drops the whole comment in.
Duck, from the west side, till you die. No, I lie. I love beaches and I love you. Yeah. Happy birthday, Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
He loves bitches, dog. He loves bitches. I mean, I don't know.
Good singer.
JB. How's the week been? When did you discover that guy existed? This week?
Nah, man, that was that guy that like fucking went viral like a couple years ago, just singing 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that guy?
Yeah,
He just sang numbers.
Oh, yeah. We know him. Yeah, the Island Boys not your thing, though? I thought you would have been a fan of the Island Boys.
Fuck no. Those are the fucks that I fucking used to try to cut off the team. Them motherfuckers. Hey, you know what it is? It's two privileged white dudes that live in a fucking probably like some rich ass part of Florida who have no issue in life and they just want to go be some fuck sticks with some fucking shitbird hairdo.
Island Boys coming from a real estate. I got a big old house for Island Boys. I mean, we don't know him. I would like to learn more about him, obviously, or about them, obviously. Go ahead, AJ.
We will. I'm sure once they win a Grammy here in a year or two, we'll learn all we need to know about those guys. But, JB, what's happening down at LSU? Who's going to be the next head coach, and what is going on with Coach O?
Man, I don't know. Fuck, man. Everyone wants to play pocket pool, I guess, with everybody, man. You got – I don't know, man. This is my first thing. I know Lane Kiffin's going to be in the mix of that conversation, I'm sure, and all these different guys. But to me, it makes the fit is Dave Aranda, who's actually was there, obviously, when they won the Natty with Burrow and them. But I don't know what's going on, man. I've heard a shitload of different stories, man, and it's like, damn, he makes $9 million a year. Second highest paid in college football, which is crazy. And, it's really off that one great year, which happened to, the stars aligned right that year, in my opinion. And now he's kind of been a 500 coach before that and after. So I don't know. Dave Aranda makes the most sense. They've already kind of said no, from what I hear. But, I don't know what's happening, man. It's a situation that is really interesting. I'm actually going to pick them to cover the 8 points against Ole Miss this week.
Whoa, that's against your boy.
You know why? Because like AJ was talking last week, in the NFL, it's a little different, in my opinion, as far as playing for a guy that exited like a Gruden, or are you playing for the new coach who's a rah-rah guy? NFL's a little different, professional or grown men. College, it might be, I think the kids do like Ed, and I think that even when he took over SC for that interim position, they played hard for the guy. He's a recruiter. He's a go-getter. I do think LSU will play hard for him the last few games, and I think after putting up a big offensive performance against Florida last week and beating them, and then him being fired on his day off, basically, I think it'll rile up the players for him.
No, it was a mutual agreement. It wasn't a firing. It was a mutual agreement, JB.
And mine was too.
Why do you say Lane Kiffin? Isn't he happy at Ole Miss? Corral is about to be like a top 5 pick. He seems like he's going viral every week. They're in the SEC, so you're still going to have to play against everybody. Would LSU be an upgrade for Lane Kiffin? And maybe I'm just completely out of touch here.
Coaches are like men, man. Undefeated. Pussy and new pussy. They always want something new. They always want to go to the next thing. They always want to try the new thing out. And that's just the bottom line. And these kids, though, don't understand that's who you're picking to play for end of the day. You got to go evaluate where you're going. These kids they pick the schools for the wrong choices. They're picking to go to play for coaches, which I understand. If I was a coach, I'd also get you to come play for me. But I'd also give you the real and tell you this is what it really is, man. I might leave next year for USC. Just know that coming in here. And these people aren't doing that at all, in my opinion. And, dude, yeah. I mean, they're going to pay way more. They're going to fucking, better facilities. LSU, it's just more lore. Yeah, you go for it. I mean, that's what they're going to do.
Okay, what about at USC? What have you heard about USC? That kind of got real quiet, and maybe it's because USC stinks or whatever. They're playing Notre Dame this weekend, so it'll be national television. I'm sure that'll be a conversation. What are you hearing out of there, and who could go there? Is that going to be Urban Meyer?
Well, if SC hires Urban, in my opinion, they've lost all, not that they really have integrity, but they've lost it all, because you're going to hire him after the whole debacle in the bar scene. What are you telling everybody? Fuck it. You could fuck with 21-year-old blondes in a bar, but we'll hire you as our college football coach in Southern California around the most fucking beautiful women in the world. Let's go. Let's hire this fucking guy. So I don't know if that's what they do, or if they want to do they even care. But it's a result-oriented business. Urban wins in college, and I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know. But again, Dave Aranda, the same person I mentioned for LSU, would be at least be a conversation piece to have.
Who is this guy? I don't even know who this guy is. He's a friend of yours?
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's from Cali. So that's the only other reason. So he was a DC at LSU, and then he got the head job. He's now the head coach at Baylor right now, winning.
Oh, he beat the fuck out of West Virginia.
So he's a guy who's from Cali, who understands the climate, who's not even a guy I've heard about. But I don't know why I haven't heard his name in this mix, because I think, like I've been saying, you need a California guy in USC. I actually think Dante, a good friend of mine, a former assistant of mine, coach of mine, coached together actually in the JUCO ranks together, pulling up. He's the interim at SC. He, in my opinion, I think he's going to get a big win this weekend at Notre Dame. Okay. I don't think they've lost 3 in a row to Notre Dame, and I just think this is one of those type of seasons and games, and hopefully those players rally around them. But I think it's in South Bend. They lost by 3 and 4 the last 2 years, so I think they can win this one on the road. And like I said, I don't think Notre Dame's very good. They just keep getting by certain other shitty teams they keep beating. So I don't know. But
hey, JB, what about that job? What about Brian Kelly and that job? What do you think? It seems like almost a really difficult place to win with unbelievable expectations on whoever is there.
Yeah, I'm shocked that he's been there that long, man. I guess what I could say about him is he's ultra consistent as far as what he's been able to do at Notre Dame. I guess he just continues to win 10 games, but I always tell people, I said, dude, unless you win your last game, it doesn't really matter. And I'm surprised Notre Dame has kept him without, actually winning the big one. You had all these, like you said, these expectations are quite lofty nowadays. I equate it to like the Nebraskas and the Miamis and the Florida States. Like, college football is not the same with those programs being shitty, in my opinion. That's why I always knock the transfer portal. I just think football is a lot better when the Michigans, the USCs, the Nebraskas, the Notre Dames, Miamis are better. They're not, because of that, my whole issue on this transfer portal. But Notre Dame's a hard place, man, and especially when you got kids falling off film booths and shit. But, at the same time, I don't think they're ever going to get the elite
How many
talent.
years ago was that?
And so long. But anyway, JB and Ty. Anytime
funny.
We won't forget.
Can't forget that, huh, JB? Okay, so we got SC over Notre Dame. You got LSU +8 against Ole Miss. You like Dave Miranda for the LSU job and the USC job.
What'd you call him?
Aranda?
Yeah.
Aranda.
Aranda, right?
Aranda, yeah.
Not Miranda.
And by the way, your best guest you've ever had on, no offense to AJ or Aaron Rodgers or anybody, is that fucking Geo kid.
Yeah, he's awesome, wasn't he? He was the coolest dude of all time.
He's had 20 fucking surgeries, hip replacement, life is too short speech, and then we got fucks out here like Ben Simmons and Kyrie who can't fucking go play. Like, you motherfucking privileged fucks, like you enabled fucking, oh man, that shit irks me. When you see a kid like him and you're like, you fucking enabled fuck. Go $100 million, but you can't go to fucking work.
Well, hey, JB, I will say, as soon as Gio walked in here, there's just like this aura that surrounds him. And he takes a lot of heat on the internet, obviously, as all sports people do. Yeah, and because I've been a follower of his for like a year now or whatever. I love that kid, JB. I fucking love him.
He's taking heat. That's crazy to me. Like, that's how these bottom feeding fucks on Instagram, on Twitter, man. I mean, you gotta be shitting me. You're gonna give that kid heat. Like, you have no fucking moral compass, man. Like, you fucking shitbirds.
Hey, they're never coming back from that, by the way. There's no way they can get back in.
What you saw on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been into this week? You watch any like Squid Game or anything? Or are you just football all day? What do you do as a hobby?
No. Dude, I've never watched Netflix. Like, I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch shit. I don't really watch shit, man. I've never been a TV guy. You know, for like AJ can probably attest, when you're a player or a coach, when you start coaching and then when you go straight from playing to coaching, it was, I think, when I stopped coaching 2 years ago, I believe it was 28 years straight of weekends being occupied by football. So especially the last like 18, 19 as a coach. So Saturdays and Sundays are game plan, film, breakdown, scouting reports, everything. Or playing the actual game. So you don't get to watch TV, you don't watch college football, you don't get to watch NFL. And I just started watching clips of kids that I had actually playing either at the 4-year or in the NFL. I just tried to watch those guys. But, you know.
What do you do as a hobby? Do you have any hobbies?
Squid Game is.
Do you have any hobbies? What do you, just football, all ball, all day?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, you know, they say you're a jack of all trades, master of none. So I try to master drinking whiskey and fucking smoking cigars. You know what I did though, man? I didn't watch Squid Game. I haven't watched any of those. I don't even know what the fuck Squid Game is. I could not tell you what the fuck that even was. It sounds like real fucking weird to me.
Watch watch Human Centipede. That'll get you right into everything.
Jesus.
Human Centipede?
Nah, do not Google that.
Check it out. It'll get you on Netflix.
JB,
sounds like a fucking 70s porn movie.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much.
Pretty accurate. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did, Pat, this week though. I was like, you know, if you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for fucking permission, right? That's a quote I live by. I went out and I got an opportunity like thrown my way. I can't tell all the details, but I actually got a fucking Maserati.
What? Where?
I got it right here in my fucking driveway right now. I put it in the garage last night, and I think I was super fucking loaded because I was so happy that I was given this gift. And I don't even know how I got it in the garage or what happened, but this beautiful all black on black Maserati is in my possession. Pink slip and everything. My name. It's mine.
No way. You got a murdered out Maserati right now in your garage. You have no clue how it ended up there, huh?
No, I know how I got it, but I'm just saying I got an opportunity and I was like, you got to be shitting me. So it's really just kind of a promotional deal that I was given this car for. My car, free and clear. Wow. And motherfucker.
Hey, how about you? Out of Compton, okay, become a Netflix star, don't watch Netflix, can commit 28 years of your life to the game, and now you got a Maserati showing up at your house. You are the American dream, JB.
Hey, it's that. It ain't shit else.
Hey,
it ain't no fucking luck. You know, I'll talk about preparation meets luck and all this bullshit. Nah, fuck that. You got to go turn over rocks and get the shit done.
Well, preparation meets opportunity is what they call luck. I mean, you were close there.
I don't believe all that shit. I believe kind of like you, though. The universe kind of speaks to you in certain ways, but I think you got to go get the shit. I kind of just floats it out there. You got to go figure out how to get the shit.
So what are you doing? You're putting in, I assume there's definitely. You're putting Bluetooth on. You're turning some music down. You're going, hey, same hood, new whip. You're going windows down, music loud with that Maserati today and tomorrow, I assume, driving around?
Oh, that's the interesting part about this, because after this show, it's funny you said windows down. The fucking driver's side window won't roll down.
Oh,
no. So I'm going to get
just punch it out. Punch it out, man.
First of all. Hi, AJ?
I said just punch it out. If you need it down, just punch it out and tell the people who gave it to you they need to fix it.
Headbutt that shit.
You got a Goodwill Maserati showed up at the house. The window doesn't.
What do you have to do? What kind of commitment do you have to do?
Hey,
That's a lot.
Fuck it. America, blast me. I don't care. But if I roll by, tell your girl to jump in, motherfucker.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Hey, did those cigars get to you?
They have not yet. They should be there soon, though, right?
Yeah, they should be. They'll be there this week. I don't even know. I got to check the tracking, but they're coming from Long Beach.
Right, that might be where AJ's at right now, Coach. We have no idea where he is. There is zero sun in the Midwest, and AJ is coming from a bright spot.
He might have some water behind him with the shades pulled down. It looks like he's on a, I don't know, got some water behind him. AJ's a secretive dude, man. That's a good thing. I heard Dan on the show this morning. I texted him happy birthday to his daughter, and he was like texting me right away. I'm like, wait, I'm watching you live. Is this fucking live or not? Because you're texting me instantaneously. I'm like, damn. But he's funny, man. He seems like a good dude. He's absolutely 100% wrong in all the shit he said. But he really looks like a great dude. No, seriously,
he really looks like a great guy. I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth is complete bullshit, but he seems like he's a great. You guys, and I said this too, Dan. You guys are polar opposite ends of the spectrum of whites. You know what I mean? He is the whitest white, and you are on the opposite end of the spectrum.
I used to tell coaches similar shit to what you were telling them. I used to tell coaches, I used to have like a bookworm, a spreadsheet guy that was an analytical guy. And then I had my grindy recruiting coordinator or whatever. And I would tell him, I said, if you two fuckers morphed and had a kid some way, he would be Bill Belichick. That is kind of the deal. Like, maybe that would be the balance. You know what I'm saying? If we somehow had a fucking kid some way morphed, we would have the perfect fucker to talk on ESPN.
Go ahead, Ty.
Coach JB, going back to Ben Simmons, I feel like you had a lot of, like, when you were in Independence, you had a lot of kids who kind of had that same mindset, who was like, I'm too good to be here. I don't deserve to be here. I shouldn't be here. I should be somewhere else. How did you deal with that when it was like a guy who you knew, like, hey, we're probably going to need this guy if we want to go win football games this year?
Man, people don't realize that a lot of these four-year coaches, I think, struggle in this regard for some reason because they're disgenuine, in my opinion. But it's relationship-based, number one. You have to treat every single individual totally, completely different than the next person. But the team has to some way be shaped in the same goals and ideology. So you have to have the same team. This is my mission statement. These are my goals, et cetera, et cetera. If you're late, we all do this. If you miss, we all do this. Individually, though, in my office by myself, you're going to have to be a completely different person with that individual and build that relationship and you're his safe haven. He can come to you now and say, okay, coach, I got this baby mama issue. I got a fucking uncle that got killed and shot, and I got my mama sick. They won't really tell you those things unless they start to understand that you have their back. And a lot of these coaches don't get that, and that's the reason a lot of these coaches, in my opinion, the recycled ones, is just continue to keep getting recycled at these D1 jobs. They have no clue. Number one, you take a job like Brett Bellum. I don't know if you've heard his recent rant about how shitty the talent is that he inherited at Illinois. Well, coach him up, motherfucker. Like, shit, this is your job. You make $4 million and you're going to throw little kids under the bus and tell them how shitty your fucking job is?
Yeah.
Sorry, motherfucker. I'm doing a podcast from my house. I'll take your job.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about this, though, because I've heard that there's some coaches and people are like, well, he's not like that. Like, he's not like a guy that he just kind of is administrative. He kind of stays out of the conversation day to day. I don't know how as a coach you can't connect with your team. I don't understand how that's even a feasible outcome, especially in the world that we're in where you don't have a connection with every single player, you know?
I'll tell you why and how. It's real simple, and I've learned this to be fact. Manny Diaz, head coach of Miami right now, for instance, takes the head coaching job at Temple. 1 day later, resigns and takes the job at Miami. After the one, let me reiterate, restate this. 1 day after signing day, he resigned and took the Miami job. So he signed a fucking class to Temple to come play for him, and said, "Fuck you, I'm out. I'm to Miami." Those kids can't chase him and follow him. So now you got a bunch of kids that are there. To answer your question, why can they not have a connection? For that fact alone, I might fucking get up and bounce out of here. I'm going to keep this professional, standoffish relationship. And the kids finally realize it that, okay, he sold me a car in my house with my mom. I get to campus. This motherfucker walks right by me and he don't know me anymore. And now you're like, oh shit. And now, oh fuck. By the way, your coach just took a job at Miami. What? I just signed. I can't get out of this. I can't get out. So, like, the kids get screwed in that regard. That's why I do understand certain people's takes on the transfer portal in that regard. But then my rebuttal is, don't choose the fucking coach to go play for. Make it a decision, a business decision, because they're making a business decision every day and they're leaving you.
It's hard. It could be hard to trust people again, or coaches again, by the way, especially if that situation would happen. And it's, for me, when I was at West Virginia, obviously Rich left after our junior year, and our entire class, who had just won, 3 straight bowl games at that point. We lost the game against Pitt, mostly my fault. We could have won the national championship. I think we were all thinking, hey, next year, we're going to go. Like, hey, we're immediately after the game. That was like almost what we all fell back on, is like, we fucked it up this year, okay, but next year we're going to go. And then boom, a couple days later, Rich Rod's going to Michigan or whatever. It's hard to trust when everybody is being told to buy in, and then sometimes the person that's telling you to buy in automatically opts out, and it's like, well, how can I trust anything anymore with anybody? And some people can never get over that, Look
at the standard right now, Nick Saban. All right, he's the standard still. Until you knock the champ out, he's still the standard. Even if he don't win it this year, he's still the standard for probably 5 more years if he didn't win it. Right. The issue is kids and their parents know Nick Saban ain't fucking leaving. He's not going anywhere. What's the percentage? His NFL days are done. He tried that. There's not another job in America right now, unless he's like, fuck it, I want to live in Cali and I'm just going to go out and try to win a few and retire in California. I don't see Nick doing that. So my thing is, parents and kids, I think, are understanding, well, this guy's the best in the business right now. These kids go to the NFL, they get coached up, they get tutored up in every aspect really known to man in the program, and now they're instantly either job ready for the United States, the universe, they're job ready, or they're NFL ready, and they're going to the NFL and they're going to make a lot of money. Why aren't you going to go there? Yeah. So they know he's not leaving. They know his basically reputation precedes itself, and so kids are going there in large amounts, and they're not going to the schools that continue to have high turnover, like all these recyclable jobs. I mean, look at all the jobs that are just always, there's a new place. And Nick probably kills that in recruiting. Oh, LSU, by the way, this is your 3rd fucking head coach in 5 years. Hey, by the way, Auburn, this is your 4th coach in fucking 7 years. Yeah. You sure you want to go there? Like, I'd be killing that shit.
What about Dabo and Clemson, JB? What's going on there? The quarterback's supposed to be a stud. Like, what are they doing? Are they going to be able to figure it out?
Good family friend of mine, man, and he's a great kid, great family. Fuck, man, the Polynesian culture is so different, as you know. You know what, man? I truly believe, I try to tell people, quit being so quick to judge these quarterbacks, all of them, NFL, college, whatever. Last year he came in, everybody's like, well, he broke a record against Notre Dame. They lost, but he threw for 480 or whatever. And I said, listen, man, there's a different pressure on you when Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence, was sitting there hurt for a few games, and I really have no law. I have nothing to lose here. I'm going to go out here and ball my nuts, swing my nuts out, and I'm going to rip it. And if I don't, who cares? Nobody's going to talk shit about me. So he had 2 games last year as a true freshman where he balled out. Everyone thinks, oh, now he's a Heisman candidate coming into this year, and he's looked like horse shit, right? because I believe the pressure has been so insurmountable on an 18-year-old kid. And then the public persona of him is supposed to be he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when in fact is, dude, he's a human. He's fucking out here trying to learn a system that, in theory, they have no weapons around him like they've had in the past. And they have also been pretty injury prone. So, they still got a good defense and everything. But, I just think he's having his true sophomore blues. Like, that's a real thing with a lot of quarterbacks. They really struggle. And really, he didn't really play as a true freshman like everyone thinks. He played 2 games. So, like, it's not like he played a whole season. So this is his real first season, and I think he's taking his licks. Can he bounce back from it personally? I hope so. But, Dabo, he's up for LSU as far as names, and he kind of came out yesterday, I'm only one Death Valley to me, and that's here at Clemson. You know how that goes. I don't know. I don't see Dabo leaving Clemson. I wouldn't leave Clemson for LSU. I mean, have you been to that place?
No, but especially with what he's built. Hour 2 wrapping up on Sirius XM. We're back in 6 minutes. You're the absolute best. Cheers. Still live on YouTube. Had to go to a heart out there on Sirius XM. Dabo, one bad year. Imagine with what he built up in Clemson in the ACC. If he had one bad year and then all of a sudden he leaves, that would be to your exact point of what you said about not being able to trust anybody. He had all this incredible run. He was talking about how big the playoffs should be before the season. Hey, I talked to my players. They don't want to play more games. No. Hey, listen, if we made it in with 4, we're going to make it in with 12. You're not, actually, this year. But if he was just to pick up and leave, that would be exactly to the point of what you were discussing earlier.
No doubt about it. Like, this is the thing to me. Like, I don't know how you can't see this. It's not very big, but look at this shit, dude. Like, $9,700,000, and look at his buyout, Nick Saban. $40 million to buy him out. And if you look at Jimbo Fisher's buyout, it's $95 million. Let me ask you something. What in the fuck has Jimbo Fisher done besides having the 1 year at Florida State? He's been a great play caller his career, his life, and all that. He beat Saban this year, which really is meaningless. You're going to pay this dude $95 million to leave. He makes $75 million. I mean, he makes $7.5 million a year.
That's a lot of money. I mean, but also great negotiating. Great negotiating. Yeah. What did you say about Jimbo Fisher? He was 29-11 in his first 40 games.
The same as fucking a good friend of mine, Kevin Sumlin. Yeah.
He got a $95 million buyout, and Kevin Sumlin got sent to fuck up. It's a fascinating thing.
He went to college hell right now, like purgatory, which is called the University of Arizona. So, like, he goes to Arizona and actually has been decent. But look at this. Look at Arizona right now. They're having walk-on tryouts from the campus at a fucking Power 5 university right now as we speak. And this is an NFL coach who coached for Bill Belichick last year. And is another reason I talk about on my podcast. I'm like, this is another dude who's left Belichick's tree and is absolute dog shit.
All right, okay. All right, let's run through. You're right. That tree does seem to not be great. You got LSU +8 against Ole Miss. Because I think your picks are getting hot, JB. I think you're actually doing well here as of late.
I got a few interesting ones. I got SC beat Notre Dame. I don't think that's the pick of the week or nothing, but Notre Dame's favored by 7. So
that's a pretty big upset.
It'd be a pretty big win. I got Oregon. UCLA actually is -1. I don't know how that is possible. Chip Kelly revisiting his old stomping grounds there with Oregon coming in. I got Oregon winning that game.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm taking LSU to cover the 8. I'm actually, this is an interesting one. This might make you happy. It's interesting to me, though. Pittsburgh is -3.5 versus Clemson this week. I'm taking Pittsburgh. They're 5-1. Clemson's 4-2. Wow. I think this is the championship ACC title game, really.
Could you imagine if old Bickle, imagine Chris Bickle, class of 1997, they become AS. He did a $25 million donation so that the head coaching job of the University of Pitt would be called the Chris Bickle, class of 97 head coach of the Pittsburgh Panthers. That's what he did.
Really?
Yes, 25 mil. Just however you need to use it. I would just like the head coaching title to be my name, class of 97 head coach. That's actually happened in the world we're in right now.
And look at them now.
They're about to win the fucking ACC.
Damn.
I mean,
I don't think Alabama's going to beat Tennessee by 25 though. I would say they would have beat Tennessee by 25 last week after losing to A&M, but now a week's gone by, 17, 20-year-olds back on Twitter, we're playing Tennessee. I think they win, obviously. I don't think they win by 25. The shock, this is a game to watch, man, an interesting one to me. Michigan's won 6 in a row in this game. Northwestern's having a down year. But I think Northwestern covers the 23.5.
Okay.
I just think they'll have a little pride there playing for old Fitzgerald. I think they cover 23.5. That's really
that's good. That was good. That's great. Let's go ahead and watch those. We can't thank you enough for joining us, JB. I love talking to you every single week, man.
All right, guys. I appreciate you.
Hey, listen to the Slapdick podcast. Smoke Slapdick cigars. Drink Slapdick whiskey. And listen to the head of the Slapdicks chat every single Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach JB. Thank you, Coach. All right, we're back in about 1 minute, live on Sirius and here on YouTube. I'm going to run and try to piss because it's been 2 straight hours without anything. I'll see you in about 60 seconds. Thank you, AJ. You're the best, dude.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, Hour 3 on this Feel Good Friday, October 22nd, 2021 years after the year 0 was founded, shall continue right now. I don't know if he's joining us or not. Talks to Table Boss Connor, Ty Schmidt, Tone Diggs is here, all the boys in the back, and joining us via cell phone, iPhone, FaceTime, somewhere with nicer weather than what we are experiencing here in Indiana, AJ Hawk. AJ, how you doing, pal?
Good. How you guys doing? You got me?
I just made a 45-second trip to the bathroom. I've never been more proud of the timing of my bladder. It was fantastic. How are you doing? How did you enjoy the break there in between hours?
Exact same thing. I was sprinting, trying to jump over lamps that I have moved in cords and not knock them over to try to take a leak.
So he's in a big house.
Yeah.
Did you rent a house there? Was it a house, a hotel? What are you in? Because I saw you potentially look at something in the background. Are the kids there? Is the wife there?
Yeah, I'm just looking now. No, yeah, it's a house. It's a rental spot. Not a rental. I mean, just for a couple of days. Yeah.
Airbnb. Yeah, get away a little bit. We appreciate you joining us in the middle of your family vacation, obviously, and going into Week 7 this weekend. I think it's time, AJ. I think we gotta pick every single game this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, and when you flashed all of the games up earlier, it got me a little worried. There's some giant spreads this week, and you know how I do with those. Not very well.
Yeah, Coach JB alluded to it last hour there. The college slate, not great. The NFL slate, I mean,
about the same.
It doesn't seem like this is maybe the greatest weekend of NFL football. There's a lot of large numbers for teams. The only real crucial matchups, obviously, Chiefs, Titans, Bengals, Ravens. I guess the Bucks, that's a big deal because they're out like 4 or 5 players. But let's go ahead and get to this thing. Panthers, Giants. Panthers favored by 3 in New York against Danny Dimes, Joe Judge, and the boys. Your thoughts on the Giants as a whole, the Panthers as a whole, and whether or not the Panthers will cover the 3, AJ Hawk?
Well, first, I think the Panthers win. I think they cover the 3. I got to take them. I know they've they're not what they were when they came out of the gates early in the season. But I still think they're a good team, and Sam Darnold's good. The Giants, I have no idea. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're going to do. Is Saquon healthy? Like, what's their health status too for some of their players?
Well, I think the big health question is Christian McCaffrey, who's not playing, right? He's still not playing. They did not put him on IR though, which makes no sense to me. Did they put him on IR?
I believe so. He's on my fantasy football team and it has an IR next to it.
Okay, so they did put him on IR. Last week?
I think they did that either this week or on Sunday when they found out he wasn't playing.
Okay, so he has at least 3 more weeks there. They have looked like a very different team without Christian McCaffrey, as you would, by the way, without Christian McCaffrey. It's in New York. Give me the Giants, dude.
Wow. Okay. Oh, okay.
The Giants stink. Okay? The Giants stink. They do. I'm sure they know that. They're not happy about it. But for whatever reason, just give me the Giants +3.
Stinks from the head down, right? A fish stinks from the head down. Isn't that what Joe Judge said?
Well, I don't know if Joe Judge said that, but Joe Judge said a lot of things about changing the culture and did a lot of things. And it seems like if you don't win, it's going to be tough to continue to do those things. They have to play well at some point. Why not against the Carolina Panthers, who I'm not sure they know what they are either at this point. They've been kind of hit or miss. Christian McCaffrey not being on the field is a vastly different game and a different team than whenever he's on there. Teddy Bridgewater didn't get a chance to experience it much last year. Sam Darnold, when he hasn't had it, he's been terrible without Christian McCaffrey. Maybe going back into New York, maybe him going and eating a meal in Jersey, a place, an Italian place that he hasn't been in some time, reminds him of the good old days at the Jets, which there were not many. Give me the Giants +3 at home. Let's go to the next game. Jets at Patriots. Patriots favored by 7 at home. Go, and this comes just 1 or 2 days after Tom Brady says, I don't own any teams, but I would like to own the color green. Instead of shitting on the Jets as an organization, he shit on their entire operation and logo. This has been something that the Patriots have dominated forever, right?
Oh, yeah. They beat the shit out of them earlier in the season. It was like 25-6, and they have not won at home yet.
And by 0-4 at home, which is very interesting, and it's a rookie quarterback. And Bill Belichick against those rookie quarterbacks. Your thoughts here? A.J. Hawk, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson in New England, 7-point favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Patriots here to cover at home and win, but a big reason why, I mean, everyone knows Mac Jones and the hype he's getting, but I've been watching some more of the clips that have been coming out on Mac and just people taking us through different plays that may not look like spectacular plays, but when you see how much he's checking, I know Dane's big on this. Dane has another podcast called Tape Heads. I don't know if he told you about this. I've found that as well and been listening to him a little bit on there. And they talk about the progressions and watching Matt go through his reads. I just like him. I think he's too good. I think they win by more than 7.
Dan also said Sam Darnold was very good. So you got to take everything he says about quarterbacks with a grain of salt because he's going to stick up for them at all costs. But it does feel like Mac Jones is going to go. I got the Patriots -7 at home here as well, even though stats say that we probably shouldn't. Chiefs at Titans. This is one of the hallmark games of the weekend. Titans coming off a massive win on Monday Night Football where Derrick Henry ran for 3. Once again, Dan Orlovsky said Ryan Tannehill was much better than anybody's given him credit for in that particular game. The Chiefs might have found themselves as well. Here's some big news. X Factor, the Chiefs superfan, has officially retired.
Oh, wow.
He said he's become a monster through this whole thing. It is breaking news that X Factor, the man who was once called a meth addict, he said, no, I like coke and booze. And I've been clean for 4 years. Got into a fight with Red Extreme, who told him he's a scumbag. He said, I've become a monster. I'm getting out of here. So that is happening off the field. Maybe a distraction away from the Chiefs organization has been handled. Kansas City travels to Nashville, 4.5-point favorites. Your thoughts?
I mean, I know what you're not supposed to bet the Chiefs, right? You said they never cover. Is that right?
They covered last week, but it's like few and far between. It's few and far
and I
between.
picked against the Titans too last time. Last game they played as well, and I don't want to do it again. But I don't know. Like, how's Kelsey doing? What's his health like?
I think Kelsey's good.
Yeah, he's fine.
Hey, 2 weeks in a row.
He scared me. He scared me with his shoulder or arm thing.
Well, and then 2 weeks ago, he got a big shot to the Travis Kelsey's been eating some big time shots, and it's, I guess, a part of the game whenever you're a tight end. The offense has not looked as smooth. I think the Chiefs win. Give me the Titans +4.5.
Wow. Oh. Okay, I like the Chiefs win and the Chiefs to cover though.
Okay, perfect. I just think the run game, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, you're right. Chances are they're going to control the game. He's going to pound on him again. I don't know. I don't know why. I just can't. Chiefs are like Alabama to me. I'm like, I can't pick against them.
Yeah, and I actually said that the Alabama team might win by 50, and then they lost to Texas A&M. So, I mean, we don't know anything, obviously. At this point, I feel a little bit more comfortable, but I like the Titans. And I think the reason why I like the Titans is because while watching the Titans the other night, I said, all right, this is a team I'm going to bet on now. If this is what it's going to look like, and it has been in the second halves of games, that Derrick Henry train has been leaving the station and running all over everybody. I don't think it's going to slow down for some time. What do you got, Diggs?
I don't know if A.J. Brown is playing or not. I don't know if they changed your pick or not, but he cannot keep any food down because Chipotle has ruined him.
Chipotle once almost killed Matt Hasselbeck before a Thursday night football game. We had to spend a couple nights in a hospital getting IVs. I saw a dead body, a carcass on the floor of the locker room before the Houston Texan game because he got a Chipotle food poisoning thing. He went out and started and won. It was unbelievable. And I think he went back to the hospital that night afterwards. So there is some meat that could potentially come in your little burrito bowl from the old queso Chipotle place that could take you out. A.J. Brown has been battling with this now for what, almost a week straight?
Yeah.
That's a problem. That is not great. A.J. Brown's a hell of a football player. How's Julio? Is Julio playing?
You heard his
Wait, what is it?
hamstring
Food
again.
poisoning? What is it?
I think he was limited in practice yesterday, but I can check.
Yeah, hamstring.
At some point, Julio's got to go.
Yeah, has to.
At some point, Julio is going to have to go. Here's the injury report. AJ, everybody's on it. Randy Bullock's on her. The fuck happened to Randy? Shoulder?
Did not practice.
What? Did he? What happened?
He had full practice today, though.
Huh?
He practiced today, though.
Randy did?
Yeah.
All right, Randy.
Come on, Randy. Come on, Randy.
That was
Hey, what
yesterday?
about Taylor? What about Lawan?
Yeah,
Is he
Lawan.
able to get out of concussion protocol?
That was a scary one. He did not participate. Is this yesterday?
Yeah, so Friday's not updated.
There's
I
no way.
apologize.
There's no way he clears protocol.
Well,
right?
this is just like Danny Dimes. Remember, he was, a dead body traveling across the field. And then all of a sudden, 3 days later, hey, this guy's starting for us.
Yeah.
So, whoa. Isn't there some brain thing that needs to happen there? Taylor looked, obviously, T's and P's for Taylor. Randy Bullock might just not have kicked on Thursdays. He might kick Wednesday, Friday. So, did not participate means maybe they didn't even have a field goal drill. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, yeah.
That was alarming. Shoulder?
Shoulder.
What the hell? Was it? Was
Slept
Randy
on it wrong.
Is Randy Bullock throwing the body around? Fucking Randy.
I just watched a video of Julio jog onto the field for practice yesterday. He looks all right.
All right, so Julio, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, give me them plus 4.5, even though I still love the Kansas City Chiefs, even more so now that X Factor's retired. I think Kansas City is a big weight.
Retired. What do you mean retired? Like he can't officially retire as X Factor.
It means he's going to die now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to live for. All right, rest in peace, by the way.
Rest in peace,
Rest in
X
peace, X
Factor.
Factor.
R.I.P. Moment of silence.
A lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans are going to be mad that we gave him a moment of silence treatment.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about him on the internet.
Yeah.
They hate that guy.
Is he bad? He's got a lot of stuff on his rap sheet, or what?
I think old X Factor's potential bad guy.
Yeah.
I think old X Factor's potential bad guy, but a super fan community, that's going to happen whenever things get red extreme out there. I don't know. Fuck them. All right, let's move on. One of the greatest news clips in the history of the world.
Yes.
Jared Kittle
Stat.
crushed it. Thank you, Jared, for that. Washington at Packers. Washington getting 7.5. Not going to be enough. I got the Packers 5-1 at home, moving to 6-1. Your thoughts, AJ?
Yeah, surprise. I'm a homer here. Packers win and they cover. I pick them to win usually. I don't always pick them to cover, but I think things are going too well right now for them. Aaron looks too good. Takatari's practicing. Who knows when he's coming back. Yeah, Packers they win and they cover.
Well, there was one time you didn't pick them to cover, and you were called out about it immediately upon that actually happening, which was awesome, a beautiful moment.
I appreciate Aaron consuming our content. That's why I told him thank you for knowing my picks. But I will continue to pick with my head and not my heart as much, I guess.
See that. I go right with my heart. I go right with my heart every single time. And in this particular fashion, the brain starts to be adding up with it as well. Washington football team is about to get smoked, especially with all the bad football karma that's potentially coming Washington football team's way. With what happened with Jackson Mahomes on Sean Taylor and everything, I just feels like this is a runaway for the Packers. This one might get ugly, and I might be setting myself up for a freezing cold take here. And Washington football team, the future might be bright for you guys, but this seems like a steamroll if I've ever seen one for the Green Bay Packers. Let's go to the next game there. Falcons at Dolphins. Who gives a fuck? Who do you like?
I'll take the Dolphins to cover 2.5.
Me too. I got the Dolphins as well. Tua is quarterback.
Wait, no, did I say Dolphins or Falcons? I'm with Falcons in that.
All right, me too. I'll take the Falcons. I zero thought on that. I'm not going to let you take a lead on that particular game on me. There's zero chance of that. I'll go with the Falcons as well. This is a complete toss-up. Gumpy, the Dolphins are in complete disarray. There's rumors flying that you might bring in somebody with 22 plus allegations on there. You were going to send Tua to Washington allegedly. I mean, there is so much smoke out there. None of it seems real, but there's too much nonsense around the team for them to be anything worth a fuck, right? I mean,
Yeah, Artie Smith off a bye week as well. Atlanta played well in London. Atlanta's buzzing right now.
all right, I got the Falcons. Give me the Falcons. Let's go Bengals, Ravens. This is a big time game. Bengals getting 6.5 going into Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is in the MVP conversation for good reason. Might be his best year yet when everybody said that he couldn't get any better after his first year, second year, third year. Here we are. They were in a playoff game last year. They see how the AFC North is. This is a massive AFC North matchup. Joey Burrow and the boys are buzzing, as is Baltimore. Your thoughts on this? This is the second premier game of the weekend, I think.
Yeah, 6.5 is a lot. The Ravens are great. Lamar is awesome, but I'm going to take the Bengals at plus 6.5 here. I'm not sure they win, but I think they keep it close.
Okay, and I love Joey Burrow. I love the Bengals. Give me Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Every single time until further notice. I'll take Lamar Jackson until further notice every single time. Even though I love Joey Burrow, I love the Bengals. I'm a big fan. I just think that the Ravens know that this is an AFC North matchup. The Bengals, they're coming off of beating the dog shit out of the Lions.
Their confidence is actually be too high. So maybe they don't show up. That's why I like the Ravens.
What if the Bengals actually said, that was a high school team we played last year?
That's what they should say.
What if they actually use that as like a warning? Let's try some plays out. Jamar Chase is deboing people. That is, Joey Burrow said this, that he went up to Jamar Chase and said, hey, there's not a lot of top 5 wide receivers that are running down the field pancaking people in the run game for Mixon. I mean, I am big fan.
Awesome.
Big fan of everything they got going on in Cincinnati, except for the indoor practice facility and the lack of investment in the team.
Sure.
Other owners are building up entire cities for their teams.
Yeah.
Right.
The Bengals are just trying to save money on hot dogs. I mean,
Right.
it is. For the good of that locker room, I wish they would get an owner in there that would potentially invest in them to become as great as they can become. But I'm with the Ravens, minus 6.5. Who knows how that one's going to go? Lions, Rams, 16.5. We're all on the Rams, right?
100%.
Man, I don't know. I mean, when you think about it.
Do it. I dare you.
Dude, what do you want me to do?
Take the Lions.
Well, first off, I'm not going to be bullied into doing anything right now. I'm trying to think it out in real time and not just, trying to put some thought into this. You know what? Yeah. Give me the Lions. 16
Wow.
No, give me 17. No, give me. Can I get a half a point?
No. We don't make the
All
Lions.
right, I'll take 18 then with the Lions. Let's go.
All right, if that thing gets to 18, which it might, if with more Matthew Stafford and McVay interviews come out where they're like, yeah, got a lot to prove, obviously. That thing might go to 20. It's at 16.5. You like the Rams at 16.5?
No, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to take the Lions at 16.5.
Wow.
All right.
Maniac.
It's for you, Abby.
Thank you, AJ.
Evan, who do you got?
The Lions are going to get absolutely slaughtered. I got Stafford winning by 40 points. Probably doesn't play in the fourth quarter if I had to guess.
Which, by the way, could become a problem here whenever you have that. That's a 3-score spread.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, there's potential. That is a lot.
Yes. Let's get some turnovers, Detroit, and get back in this thing.
Yeah, that fourth quarter could get very ugly for this, but I'm going to go with anytime there is massive amount of I was right spite potentially coming, I'm going with the Rams. Let's go Eagles, Raiders. Okay, here's a game. Eagles traveling to Las Vegas. They're getting 3 points on the road. Coach Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah.
Paisan Rich, Football Richie out there got that team going. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I can't go against Coach Richie. You know how I feel about this guy. The team rallies around him. The dude is jacked. Chuck loves his Fu Manchu. I got Raiders here -3.
What about Sirianni, though? There's another Paisan, I guess, taking on Rich Bisaccia. A lot of Italians, Fangio, Bisaccia, Sirianni. I mean, the list goes on and on. Huh?
Good leaders.
Well, Vic Fangio's team stinks.
That's not because of his leadership.
You're right. People are saying, though, it is.
It might be.
Eagles stink, too.
If Vic could speak like Sirianni, they would win more.
Coach Sirianni, your thoughts on going out to Vegas? I mean, is it going to be tough to keep the boys in line with that Vegas Strip potentially staring them right in their chin?
No, I'm not worried about the Vegas Strip. I am worried about Coach Bisaccia because I'll tell you why. He's a fellow Paisan. I love the guy. I'm going to beat his fucking ass this weekend.
Really?
Hey, this is how the big boys play in the NFL, okay? Last week, a team rallied around you, rah, rah. I'm bringing the noise this weekend, okay? There's a reason they call it the Sin City, okay? We're going to be very meticulous in what we're trying to do. We're going to have our P's and Q's, and our T's crossed and our I's dotted. We're going to be doing all that stuff, and I fully expect us to win by, 17 to 20 points.
Okay, Sin City, there's not going to be a lot of Jesus out there for the Raiders, huh?
No, definitely not. And as we know, Derek Carr loves Jesus, which is kind of weird that he does live in Sin City. I'm surprised he didn't raise more red flags when they were going from Oakland to Vegas saying, hey, I love the Lord. The Lord doesn't live in the desert. He doesn't. So, we'll see. Once again, I said we need to get Miles Sanders more involved. I don't know why it took me this long to come to that conclusion. Maybe it's because everyone in Philadelphia wants to see my head get chopped off, but they're going to be hailing me as a hero when we go into Las Vegas and get a huge win over Football Rich and the Raiders.
Thanks for your time, Coach. I got the Raiders.
I was going to ask Sirianni what he was going to do the night before. Hopefully, that was a big talk. Hey, if a team's in Las Vegas, is the opposing team going to get in trouble when they're there the night before? I was worried about the head coach. Sirianni is still so young. He's big, strong, strapping dude. What's he doing?
Hey, you and I have seen coaches drunk the night before games in hotels.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right, where'd you go? Oh, there's a little bar right down the street here. We went in between the meetings or whatever. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you are.
They try to hide it. They try to hide it, too. They're breathing all over everybody in the back of the room.
What? You smell something? Should I? I got gum. I just had about 14 vodka.
He's eating he just spooning peanut butter into their mouth, trying to hide the smell.
It's like, did you guys bring the alcohol? No, we went down to the bar right down there. It's a good place. We're the only ones in there because it's like 7 p.m. or whatever, but we housed everything there. I'm like, Jesus, what is the deal? We got to keep these guys locked down maybe. Is Sirianni going to get out on the strip a little bit?
No, it's actually funny you mentioned it. You guys talked about it. Really, I'm more excited for the Mind Freak show that I'm going to be going to on Saturday night than I am the football game. I love his work, and I'm very, very excited about that.
You think he's going to bring in Chris Angel's attention to detail to the Philadelphia Eagles game plan?
I haven't even thought about that yet, but if he's available, I don't know. We'll see, because he got the knee pads. He's ready to go, and he was suspended, obviously, 800 feet above the field. So, yeah, maybe I do that.
All right. I got the Raiders. Who do you have?
Who I said? Raiders. Yeah, I'll take them.
Yeah, Kelsey came out with an incredible quote out of the Philadelphia Eagles. And you got to remember, throughout this entire year, Jason Kelsey has been fantastic. Not only is he running out in the middle of a rainstorm at MetLife Stadium or field or whatever, he's come out and said, hey, listen, Ben, all right, everybody talks about how hard it is playing Philadelphia. Fucking do better and they'll love you. Yeah. How about that? How about you do better?
Hustle, play hard. I love that he said, if you're playing baseball, all you got to do is sprint to first base and they'll love you. I was like, it's true. It seems so right. If you try hard and you show that you care, they will absolutely love you for life. And I think Kelsey obviously is embedded in that whole Philly culture.
Yeah, come on in. They'll embrace you if you embrace what the city is, which is a hardworking, tough city. But if they even get a sniff that you're maybe a little bit of a bitch, I mean, they turn on you. They turn quickly, which I appreciate and respect. But he also he had to dye his hair, right? Because I think he understands the situation. He was like, Ertz, you're getting traded, dude. Like, your contract, what you're going on, what we have, you're getting traded. If you don't get traded, I'll dye my fucking hair. How about that? And then, boom, shows up at the press conference with old Slim Shady dyed hair. What's that all about? To be honest, I thought there was no chance that Zach Ertz is still on the team. And now he's gone. Zach Ertz is gone. I don't know how they're going to be able to make out. Are they planning for the future in Philadelphia, or are they trying to win right now? I don't think they know. I don't think anybody has a clue. And allegedly, Howie Roseman sent an NFL or one of their investigators down to Houston to try to get in the Deshaun thing. Are they sold on Jalen? Just feels like the Raiders are a different team than the Eagles right now. And I don't think it's Jalen Hurts' fault. I'm not sure if it's Sirianni's. I just think they have no idea what they're doing going forward.
When you look at Jalen Hurts, too, like it's the same deal. Like, he's so athletic, but he misses guys who are wide open and like opportunities they have. Where if you go back and look at it, it's like, oh, if he would have hit on a couple of these passes, like they would have had an opportunity to win the game. And he just doesn't seem like he's there yet.
Yeah, well, he's also a young quarterback, and his start has not been the smoothest, I don't think. And that's like Tua. That Tua situation. Mm-hmm. That Tua situation is absurd.
Tua's screwed.
Screwed. Even if he was good, potentially going to be great. And I understand that you have to be mentally tough to be an NFL quarterback, like Jalen Hurts has to be, and Tua has to be. But at some point, you got to just think to yourself, how come other quarterbacks seem to have such a better situation than me? What the fuck is going on around here? They're trying to run me out of town. I feel like I'm not that bad. They benched me in 2-minute situations, but now the owner's even allegedly speaking about getting me out of here. I'm just trying to prepare for a goddamn game. And B-Flow says, we got a quarterback, and Tua is our quarterback.
Yeah.
The quotes, none of the quotes get any better for him. And Jalen Hurts, the same thing. He got benched for Sudfeld last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the starter. Let's go ahead and build around him. Then he wasn't the starter. Now he's like 40% of the rush yards as well. It just, that seems like they got to figure themselves out, but that's what Sirianni's there for.
That's right. And, we're not asking Jalen to do too much. He wants to do all this. So, again, we're going to win the division. Everyone wants to talk about the Cowboys. We're going to win the division.
I don't think so.
I am the best coach in the division.
I don't think so.
Maybe the league. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'll be laughing at the end of the season.
I don't think so. I'm just not 100% sure, but we shall see, Coach. We appreciate your presence. Bengals, Ravens, Lions, Rams, Eagles, Raiders, Texans, Cardinals, 17.5 points. The Fighting Daves have to fly to the desert to take on the red-hot Red Bird Gang. The Cardinals, 17.5-point favorites, more than 3 scores. This is insanity in the men's league of the NFL for it to be this high.
I mean, where are you going with this?
You tell me.
Well, I think you're going Arizona, and you think they're gonna cover 17.5.
No. Remember, just a couple weeks ago, I picked a team because I didn't think there was going to be a spread larger, and it seems like if there's ever a week to pick a team to cover that, now that we're at 17.5. I mean, they got to cover. Everybody, you're supposed to bet on the Texans.
Yeah.
You're supposed to bet on the Texans right now. It's too many fucking points.
Especially with Arizona having to play Green Bay on Thursday on a short week, you would think they'd be looking ahead, but also J.J. Watt, D-Hop, revenge game. So I'm stuck.
Well, 17.5, you're supposed to bet.
Yeah, you are.
Like, the sportsbook wants you to bet. They're trying to get to a number where they're getting more people to bet on the Texans. And they yodely, 17.5. That is fucking gigantic. That's a lot of points. That is great football that has to happen. And for whatever reason, if Doug Mills is a quarterback for the Texans, I'm taking Arizona Cardinals.
Boom.
That's what I'm doing.
The Texans are actually getting 60% of the bets and 72% of the money. So
There you go.
Good for me.
They've been outscored like 71-3 in their last 2 away games.
And what do you take? You're taking the Fighting Daves?
I was gonna take the Cardinals, but now, especially that you're taking the Cardinals, and now hearing the information from Connor, Fighting Daves.
Smart.
Have you seen Doug Mills play football? I understand you've been traveling around.
No, let me go to Cardinals. Honestly, give me the Cardinals. I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'm trying to talk myself into taking that 17.5. Just think it's too many points, but no, I got to take the Cardinals because I'll be watching the game, be like, man, I'm glad I did this because now the Cardinals are up 40 points in the third quarter and there's still 12 minutes to go in the third. Like, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you always fear that. That's just like the Jaguars, right? They won last week, and as I was watching them, because I picked against them, as I'm watching, and I'm like, I can't believe the Jags are going to win when I literally just said, I'm never betting with this team. If Tyrod Taylor was back, I think I would be a much different perspective on this thing. But they are lost and nowhere near being found.
Nope.
You can't score points. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't score points, but also you're trying to stop one of the most dynamic guys ever to play in the history of the NFL, and he has weapons.
Hey, this would be a test, though, for the Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury, Arizona Cardinals that lacked consistency last year. You could put your foot down on a team here. This is a team that you could have a massive blowout win against. If your team hums and operates at a high level and doesn't look ahead to Thursday night against the Packers, which is the biggest game of the season thus far for everybody, fans, them included. Last year, they lacked consistency. When they played against bad teams, they didn't look good. Like, they just dropped to the level of who they were playing against. This year, it seems to be a very different story. Kyler Murray seems to be, not entertained with anything, really, this year. Seems like it is just business. Hey, we are just beating the shit out of people. Cliff Kingsbury seems to be the same way. And J.J. Watt, Nuke, getting sent out for a bag of balls. Nuke, basically a 4th rounder or something he was traded away for a couple years ago. And then J.J. Watt almost fought the entire team and staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we're both on the Cardinals. That's a lot of points. But at least when we're watching it, if the Texans cover, we'll probably say to ourselves, yeah, but we're never going to put any money or solace on the Houston Texans. Can't do it.
I think JJ said, did you look at it any differently that it might not be a revenge game? They asked him about it, and he was basically like, it's not the same organization as when I was there.
Yeah, I mean, but remember when he gets on the field, maybe we're just better. Maybe everybody's saying we're winning the game. Maybe we're just better. Huh? Who's messing with JJ today? Nobody. That's what JJ's saying to himself on the field.
Yeah.
His mic'd ups are vastly different than what we hear from him in interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a switch that gets flipped. He'll start. It seems like he's pretty quiet and reserved off the field. He gets on there, loses his mind. He's like Luke Kuechly almost. And there's going to be I assume in the interview, the off-field JJ is like, no, there's no grudge. There's no grudge at all. Boom. All somebody has to say, what? Somebody just has to say to him, hey, you remember this? This team kind of said, fuck you. Remember that? And yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I was turned down for what? He'll lose his mind on Sunday. They'll find a way to make sure he knows that this is not a different organization.
Is Easterby still there?
Is McNair still the owner?
Revenge game.
Bingo.
Yeah, he'll probably catch a touchdown pass too, and they'll throw him in goal line situation.
Hopefully that's the touchdown that covers this 17 and a half, and we'll all be able to celebrate with old JJ. Bears, Bucks. Bucks are out AB, Gronk, Levante David, and Richard Sherman, which I think was all kind of expected. Bucks favored by 12 and a half. These are massive spreads for the men's league. We have to make sure we keep hammering that home. This is a board that is much different than it normally looks. The parity of the NFL is something that the NFL sells. Most games, 80% of games, 90% of games, if you look back through the history, are one-score games. Now we have 3 on the board that are 3-score differences. It's insane to me to think about this Bears-Bucks spread. I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'm hanging on the better team is going to win. Now, the Bears with Justin Fields coming out of that Packers thing, maybe they'll continue to grow with Bill Lazor's offense, and Justin Fields is a baller. Okay, I am a massive fan of him and his future. What's the future look like in Chicago? Nobody knows. But I'll bet on the Bucks, and this is going to be a bad bet, I think. I think the Bears are probably the right pick here with 12 and a half points. Go ahead, Zito.
Also, Brady revenge game because the Bears made him look like a fool last year.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something to think about.
Fourth down.
Something to think about. Thanks, Z.
Unless Foles is playing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried at all about Tom Brady losing to the Bears.
Yeah, but not just 12 and a half. That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown has become a main target. Rob Gronkowski is obviously one of his favorites. Hasn't been in because he had fractured ribs or whatever. Still got Godwin, Evans, Rojo, who's allegedly potentially on the trading block, even though Ian Rappaport said no way. Leonard Fournette. That defense needs to get things going against a young quarterback. I'm on the Bucs here. And by the way, I've been pretty boring with my picks with these big spreads. I just think the good teams are going to do what they have to do to the other teams. Your thoughts on the Bucs and Bears, AJ?
Well, I definitely think that the better team wins this game for sure, which is the Bucks. I think they win by.
I'm allergic.
I think they win by about 10, and so I'm taking the Bears at plus 12 and a half.
Hey, a 10-point win is huge in the NFL.
Yeah,
that's a giant win. Yeah.
Like, people very pumped. Like, hey, good win there. Never really got out of control. Really felt like we were in.
Double-digit win. Like, if you can have a double-digit win in the NFL, yeah, you smashed them pretty much.
Jogging into the locker room, you just feel good. Like, won by 10 there. That was a pretty good game. Not supposed to win because they're all on scholarship, too. You know, everybody on the other team's on scholarship as well, getting paid a lot of money. This just feels like a weekend of blowouts, and I might be completely wrong.
Yeah, Packers won by 10, and it felt like that game wasn't close at any point last week.
Yeah, because Justin Fields can move. He might be able to backdoor that thing 12 and a half.
But they were also saying, like, you can't run on the Bucks, and Justin Fields hasn't been great in the past game, so there's a chance that I'm not gonna say they get shut out, but like their run game has been their strength.
Give me the Bucks. Give me the fucking Bucks, dude. Give me the Bucks. I don't know if I love that I'm on all the massive spreads on the winning side. I assume a lot of people betting Bears in that game, Tone. I assume Bears a lot of money on that.
There was just a pop-up, so I had to click out of it.
Porn.
Actually, it's split. There's 60% of the bets are on the Bucks, but 70% of the money is on the Bears.
Okay, good. I'm happy with where I'm at. Let's go to Colts-Niners on Sunday Night Football, the last one here. Colts getting 4.5 on the road. Jimmy G's calf is feeling good. Feeling real good. Whenever Jimmy G plays, they seem to be a much better team, but this Niners team could stare down an inevitable 2-4 start, which could make a lot of things happen in the ripple effect. And on the flip side, we just had Jonathan Taylor on the show earlier this week. Love that dude. He's starting to get hot. Carson Wentz threw for 400 yards a couple weeks in a row. He can't move because both of his ankles are busted. Frank Reich and Chris Ballard know the heat's on them, just like it is on Shanahan and Lynch. How do you see this one turning out, playing out in a beautiful Santa Clara, California?
Well, I think Jimmy G, if he is truly healthy and he's feeling good, I like the Niners here. I like him to win. I like him to cover the 4.5. I think they'll make Carson move around a little bit, try to get him on the ground early on, and try to make him think about that presence on defense coming after him. So yeah, Niners here at 4.5.
Okay, perfect. I got the Colts, and that's the entire Sunday slate by me and AJ Hawk. A lot of disagreements.
One of us is going to do pretty good, it seems like, right?
So my particular bet, if you were to parlay all those for $10, would win you $12,000. And AJ's, if you put $10 on it, you would win $13,000. Oh, so people are saying you're making more aggressive choices than me.
Not by much, though. Obviously pretty close, though.
Yeah, pretty close because, I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen this week. Those are large spreads.
Yeah. Nobody knows. The coaches don't know. They don't know what team they have until they start the game. Like, they can say, hey, great week of practice, we're going to be great, and then they get out there and just look terrible.
Here's the thing, AJ. When I was playing, obviously I have a lot of Italian friends, and they've been in the sports gambling world for a long time. And I would ask them, like, how are you putting your money on anything? I don't even know if I'm going to fucking punt. Well, I'm a tiny piece of this thing. I might shank 4 punts tomorrow. I have no clue what is going to happen for it. How do you guys know what's going to happen? And it's like, well, that's gambling, baby. That's what you do. And I'm like, all right, I guess. If you talk to any coach, any player, they all have a plan on how they can win. Even these teams that are the other teams are favored like 16.5 or 17.5 points. The other teams have a plan for victory. They have bought in. They have believed completely. And there is a chance that on any given Sunday anything could happen. But that's gambling, baby. This slate does seem like it is a bunch of bullshit, though, this week.
Yeah.
And how do the schedule makers sleep at night knowing that this is what they put together for us on week 7, dude? We're just starting to get into the thick of things, schedule makers.
You mentioned it earlier in the week, too. It feels weird having this many good teams be on a bye this early in the season.
AJ, what is that all about? Isn't this a lot of teams? And maybe it's because of Dirty's incredible graphic here, where we get to see it every single week who's on a bye. Steelers, Cowboys, Bills, Chargers. I mean, that Vikings, I guess they're also getting hot. There's a lot of teams not playing this week, which I guess is good for the long haul here, the last 11 weeks straight. But this does not seem like the NFL put their best foot forward, but I assume all these games are going to be pretty good games. I don't fucking know.
Who makes the schedule? Do we know who makes those decisions?
They're a talented group of intelligent people. I honestly believe that. It's not easy, obviously, fitting everybody in there with an added game, and it seems like they always find a way to hit at least 1 or 2 home runs every single weekend, and they have to predict and project on what teams are going to be long in advance before any of us know what any teams are. Like, they had to put that schedule together while the Aaron Rodgers conversation was still happening on whether or not he was going to be the fucking quarterback for the Packers.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy job. I'm not saying it's an easy job, but this slate seems to be a bit of a dud. So the Chiefs, Titans, Bengals, Ravens, and Texans, Cardinals are going to have to carry the weekend, and then hopefully the Colts close this whole thing out with a big win in Santa Clara. Let's get to a break. We're back on the other side. Maybe some phone calls. Maybe some... Oh, okay.
King Cots.
There's some breaking news before we get out of here. Tom Pelissero, the Arrow, is reporting that Saquon, Kenny Golladay, and Kadarius Toney are all out. Okay, let's go back. I would like the Panthers. I am taking the Panthers -3 in New York. Now, keep me on the Giants.
You sure?
Positive. Put that tweet back up. Saquon's out. Kenny Galladay's out. Kadarius Toney's out. Well, Evan Ingram's in, John Ross is in, Sterling Shepard's in, Darius Slayton are questionable.
Jeez.
Give me the Panthers.
No. Yeah. Ingram's not in. All of them are questionable.
All right, give me the Panthers.
Yep.
I'm on the Panthers.
Hubbard's been pretty good as a backup for Carolina, too.
Okay. You're on the Panthers, too, right?
Yep.
I mean, Sam Darnold has stunk at football.
Mm-hmm. He's due, Pat.
Is he? They said that for like 3 years in New York. It never showed up. It never showed.
I don't know why. I like what their defense can do at times, and for some reason I'm a Sam Darnold fan.
Hey, Sam Darnold's good football when he was in New York, went to the store and never came back.
Yep.
Okay? It just took a trip. Hey, I'm going to go get some milk and some smokes. Never came back. And they were like, all right, we got to get rid of him. Let's go down there. Then he started out incredibly hot. He had Christian McCaffrey. Hasn't had Christian McCaffrey. It seems like his game, once again, found a local store down there in Queen City, Charlotte, and said, I'm leaving. This maybe is the game for him to come back against a wounded Giants squad that has no idea what they're doing at football. They have no clue what their identity is. They have no clue how to. That Giants organization is a massive question mark, as is the Jets, I guess. And that city deserves a good winning team at some point. I just don't think this weekend's it. We're back in 4 minutes, wrapping up this beautiful Feel Good Friday, October 22nd, 2021. We'll see you then. We regret to inform you that in the real world, the one that we're living in right now, this is an actual news clip about what's potentially going on amongst the fans in Kansas City. As the Chiefs seem to refine their identity, it seems like the fans are crumbling into pieces. This is, once again, an actual news piece on Fox 4 in Kansas City.
Well, if you spend any time around here on game day, you're likely to be aware of at least one of these men. The man known as the X Factor has been around for decades. He's the one seen in the video getting knocked down by another man who the people of Section 129 may know as Red Extreme.
There's X Factor. Here it is.
This is about 6 years ago, meeting and whooping it up with young Chiefs fans. And this is X Factor today.
Oh, no. What?
Only recognizable by his foam hat.
What?
The Broncos colors from the hospital. They kicked me out of Arrowhead. First time ever X Factor's been kicked out.
Third person.
We don't have permission to show the video of the X Factor falling after an apparent punch, but it has nearly 1 million views on Twitter. The X Factor explains what happened from his perspective and who is involved.
He's my old apprentice. I actually made him famous. You know, gave him the name Red Extreme. I saw him come run up the stairs at me, and he had that look, I'm going to kill you. And so I tried to grab his jersey to stop him and talk to him, and he, like the movie Friday, he deboed me one punch, and I saw stars. And they took me to triage at Arrowhead, checked me out. I felt all right at the time, but then I didn't know I'd broke my ribs.
Red Extreme posted a 17-minute video message to his Facebook page following the incident. He says, "A cup of water was thrown and hit my wife in the back and splashed onto me."
Can't do that.
He continues, "I have never in my life felt so bad about feeling so good because knocking that low-life son of a expletive out was the greatest feeling I've had in a long time. My problem is it happened inside the stadium, and I never imagined in my life I would behave in that manner in the stadium." He also accuses the X Factor of being inebriated.
It says that I'm a meth addict, which I'm a cocaine addict and alcoholic. I've been clean for 4 years.
Okay.
He
Much
said I
different.
threw a water
Congrats,
bottle
by
at
the
him,
way.
which I didn't. And I flipped my car a week ago Tuesday. So it's been a wild week.
What?
Wait.
Maybe he's
This makes me stronger. Jesus was persecuted.
Of course.
I'll come back fighting.
Is looking to press charges at this point, but throughout the day we did try to connect directly with Red Extreme, but were turned down. However, immediately before our broadcast we spoke by phone, and he stressed that anything that the X Factor says should be taken with a big dose of skepticism, and that he himself actually stepped away from the superfan community because of his distrust and distaste of X Factor's behavior.
Wow.
All right, Jacob Kittles.
Thank you, Jacob Kittlestad.
Thank you, Jacob.
Every day is game day for these guys. It's showtime.
Welcome back to that show. We got about 16 minutes left here. Sorry, check that. 12 minutes, 25 seconds left here on Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's head to the phones. This should be great. 5-Hour Energy phone line. Go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee. Get 10% off. Once again, this is fantastic. Very excited to do this. This is a part of a lot of live shows. This is something you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Zach in Maryland, what's going on? How you doing?
Shout out, boys. How we doing? Just
Keep
wanted
you
to ask, is Aaron Rodgers going to kick the living dog shit out of Washington, or can Washington's defense finally fucking show up? Thanks a lot.
Are you a Washington fan?
Yes, sir.
How come last year they looked so great on the defensive side of the ball, then this year they didn't show up? Has Ron Rivera lost the boys on the defensive side of the ball?
Jack Del Rio.
I'm wondering that myself and what the hell Jack Del Rio is doing, but Landon Collins didn't play all last year, and we were great. Suddenly he comes in, they stink. What's up with that?
That is fascinating because it's the same thing with like the Odell Beckham Jr. stuff. That Browns offense without Odell, now granted they were just in the system for the first year and they were all getting much more comfortable. It was rolling last year. Odell just hasn't been able to fit in for whatever reason. Now, last night I think they were trying to force him to ball in the second half and he did make some catches. It is interesting when one great player comes back whenever he's not there that the team might not, maybe they don't rely on said person so much. Why do you think that happens sometimes, AJ?
I mean, offense is weird. With like if the quarterback feels the need to try to like jam the ball to one guy or try to spread it out like that can cause some maybe can get him out of rhythm, I guess, depending on who the quarterback is. But I don't know. Landon Collins seems to be like a polarizing figure on the defensive end for some reason. People have pretty strong feelings about him.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. What are you going to say?
There's been it's been a topic of discussion this week that he's like saying that he's a linebacker. He obviously got paid a bunch of money to play safety. Like the coaches are still saying that he's in the DB room, but like he is playing a lot of linebacker. So he's like kind of like Jamal Adams. Like they're like those tweeners where you don't know what the fuck to do with them.
Remember, I had a teammate that said he wanted to be a safety defensive end hybrid.
Yeah.
And the team did not see it the same way. That was awesome. That was amazing.
And that guy had the biggest arms on the planet too. I remember being on Green Bay and people would talk about that dude's arms, how big he was.
Dude, he walked into our locker room the first time, and he had like the the bodybuilder shirts that have like the fray.
Yeah.
With this thing, and he had just like the drink you're drinking there. I don't know what those are. What are those called? What are those things you put in there?
I don't know. Everyone has different stuff.
What you put in there?
This is my own little mixture. Why?
What is it?
It's like a antioxidant aminos type
Aminos,
thing.
yes. Okay, there it is. That was exactly what I was looking for. I figured that was in your bottle. That is why I asked you. You know this more than me. He had 2 bottles of those aminos with water. He carried around everywhere, even out to practice. In the middle, he would be drinking some of the amino energy, whatever it is. And he walked through the locker room that first time, and I had never seen the entire locker room just stop and go, holy fuck. This dude is a good guy. Love that guy. He showed up, though, I think, 260, 265. It was unbelievable. I just, I'm like, holy shit.
He looks like a bodybuilder. He looked 100% to me looked like he's trying to become a professional bodybuilder.
We're talking about Leron Landry. I asked him how I could get the arms maybe a little bit different. He's doing 30 sets of arms in the building during the day. Then at night, he'd go to a local gym and hit another 30 sets at a local gym.
Come on.
How you doing? Keep it moving. We paid him a bunch of money. He was great in the locker room. For whatever reason, I don't know if he couldn't fit in with our defense or whatever. He played special teams for us. He flew around. He did whatever. But I do remember when he showed up, a lot of people said, hey, Leron wants to be a safety defensive end hybrid. It's like, holy shit. If anybody could do it, it's this goddamn guy. He was the best. But whenever things don't go well, players start thinking different things or whatever the case. As long as you win, it doesn't matter. But if you lose and it doesn't work, it obviously becomes a massive story. Washington football team seems to be lost over there. Let's go to Martin in Texarkana on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. What's going on, Martin?
Shout out, Pat, AJ, and the boys.
Shout out.
I just wanted to correct Coach JB from a couple of weeks ago when he was speaking about coaches that have won national championships and Super Bowls. He missed one.
Who?
Barry Switzer.
Legend, Barry Switzer. Thank you for the heads up there, Martin. And JB needs to stop fucking around with these Maseratis and maybe get his facts right. Ain't that, AJ?
So what, he left out Barry Switzer? And also, going back to the Maserati, he has ownership of it, he says. What kind of marketing deal gives him full ownership of it, and what does he have to do? That's amazing.
I don't know. He said, hey, I'll whip you around, and next time you're in town, he took some selfies, the dope boy next to the Maserati. I mean, that is a very nice car. The window we're looking at here on the driver's side will not open, and I think maybe that's why whoever handed it to him was like, I can't do it. I can't even open a window. And JB, like, fuck, I'll take it. He's got the pink slips. He's living his best life. JB said who? Pete Carroll. Right, yep. Pete Carroll won a Natty and a Super Bowl. Jimmy Johnson won a Natty and a Super Bowl, and he said that was it.
Yep.
I think so.
believe he did.
And then Barry Switzer also in there. Barry Switzer, he's like a little spark plug looking guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Cowboys and Sooners, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
He looks like a gym coach, right?
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
Bike shorts on under. Yeah.
No bullshit.
Yeah, no bullshit. We ain't fucking around. Miss Shrout. You remember Miss Shrout? She was no bullshit. No
You mean our 85-year-old gym teacher?
Yeah, she wore bike shorts and she was like Barry Switzer.
She had those swishy suits on every day.
She made me run a mile for kicking a soccer ball too hard.
Jesus.
She still called it calisthenics.
Everything.
Yeah.
She was the best.
Is she one of the ones that was having inappropriate relationships?
No. Miss Shrout didn't fuck around, dude.
All business.
She was, hey, we're doing physical fitness right now. All right, and that's all that matters. And I didn't go hard in gym class a lot. Maybe I'm a bad guy, bad student or whatever. And then one particular time, like a ball was just bouncing towards me. It was a soccer thing, and I was like, all right, here we go. Whoo! And that obviously blew right by whoever was playing goalie. And I did like a woo, like a full celebration, you know? You think that's funny? Mile. All right, I'm never going to try again in gym class. I will let you know this is a fucking joke. Is she dead? No.
I would assume so.
No. I think she beats death. I think Miss Shrout would beat death.
She'll never die.
I don't think so, yeah.
How old was she when you were a senior?
She was not as old as I said. She looked old. Looked like she was older.
Whoa.
Older than her years.
Whoa. Come on,
This
Tony.
fucking guy.
Unbelievable.
I'm saying she had lived. She had lived.
She wasn't Sweet Chuck's age.
No.
Okay.
No. She's
But
probably
he's
in her
still living?
60s.
I'll tell you what, she was no nonsense. I don't know how any of the teachers were having sex with the kids with her around. She didn't know. She would have Barry Switzered all of them, I think, if I had to guess. Yes, our high school had some interesting things that happened. It's a miracle that we've made. The more and more I look back on it, the fact that me, Tone, and Frank are here and CFO Phil's back there, it makes no sense. Maybe people did school differently than me in our school, but I don't think so. I think everybody was just kind of just getting through it, hoping not to get in the way of the asshole teachers over there.
Your high school has to be a movie at one point.
Has to be.
The amount of characters that came out of it, like that's insane.
And dysfunction and drama and everything.
Like every time I hear a story, I'm just like, how is that not like?
Oh, that's Plum High School.
Yeah.
That's Plum High School. Everything's changing though, by the way. Plum's turning around. They're getting better.
Really?
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, Mayor Phil's in there coaching the high school.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? They're all getting better. CFO Phil's doing his thing. We're going to be a part of the solution, not be the ones that continue to broadcast the problems, which there were many.
Amen.
Well said.
Without broadcasting, we can't change them too. You know.
True.
Bingo.
True.
That school hated me. I have to be. Normally, you know, if you have like from a school and you do sports, you know, and there's like maybe 3 different sports you're getting potential schools looking at you for and everything from a school that maybe that doesn't happen often. I would assume that person might be liked most of the time.
Typically.
I was hated by them. Absolutely hated by almost everybody at that school. And I like not my peers, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been like my peers like me, the people above. No fans at all. Turns out I was right. They're all a bunch of fucking assholes. I've been saying that since 6th grade. I was judged, but it turns out most of them were. And it makes me feel good sometimes. It helps me sleep better at night. But we're going to turn that whole place around. Ain't that right, Nick?
Well, I guess we should. You're right. I guess we should.
There's not a lot of...
For the youth, dude.
Oh, you haven't been that excited about us potentially.
How are you going to turn it around?
The youth?
I don't know, like a massive check would help, right? Doesn't that help?
You got to go and fucking do a talk.
Well, a TED
do
Talk?
a Pat Talk.
Do a TED Talk. We just got to... You lead off, obviously, Tone.
No, you got to be there day in and day out. You need to go take you 3 need to take... Like, you need to be AD. Maybe Nick is the new gym coach. Maybe Diggs. I don't know what Diggs could do. Maybe assistant principal.
The assistant principal, that son of a bitch, that fucking
You
guy.
just walk in and say...
What was his name? What was that guy? I'm not saying his name publicly. He was a piece of shit.
Actually, brother, you bring JB with us.
That guy was a piece
Bring JB with us.
of shit, that guy. Oh, my God.
JB's the head football coach. We got it. It's all figured out.
I think I got a pretty good football team. What, you were trying to fire a football coach right now? They're finally winning some games.
Guy played in the league.
JB?
No, current football coach.
Yeah, so you're trying to run him out. Who's trying to put JB at head? By the way, maybe JB's athletic director.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm telling you, it might be better than what we have. Let's go to no shot met there, JB. Sounded kind of...
No, none taken.
Not at all.
This is the same school that gave me my own trophy back when I won punt, pass, and kick You know what I mean? They like, hey, can you bring your trophy to us? Give it to them. Then the presentation of my, hey, he won. They gave me the trophy that the punt, pass, and kick people gave me. Very nice of them. I had to bring it to the event.
What a classic move.
I had to bring it to the event. Okay, then I had to hand it over to them. They're like, oh, we'll give this back to you at halftime or whatever. Like, okay. And I thought maybe there'd be like another plaque or something. No. Here you go. This is it. I'm like, thanks, man. All right, appreciate it. I mean, I did throw the shocker on national television, so I guess I wasn't necessarily in their good graces. They made me show up to an awards thing. You know, Mike McKee, I fucking love that guy or whatever. I didn't even win Male Athlete of the Year. Like, I'm not even, you know what? Like, they voted against it. And old Tim McAfee, Sally McAfee, and myself, I said, hey, why'd you fucking assholes force us to come to this thing to watch this? And I think that was their little stab at me, maybe from all the years of telling them they stink at their jobs or whatever. So I have a little beef with my high school, you know what I mean? But I would like to be a part of the solution alongside CFO Phil, who literally lives 20 yards away from the high school. So whenever you're talking about potentially having a little bit of real estate around there and boots on the ground, we do with CFO Phil, but he's going to be mayor of that place before this whole thing wraps up. You know what I mean, AJ?
I mean, you guys want to make change. Phil seems like the guy to do it. He's there. He seems to be heavily involved in at least the hockey culture going around that school. So, hey, good for him.
I would like people to think positive things about Plum, though. You know, at some point. It's hard, especially with the
people.
people.
I do. I think positive about it.
That's because you're a toxic person, though.
No, I don't know. I only know a few things about the school. So.
Well, that seems to be the only headlines are bad ones, and we push those narratives. Mm-hmm. We should stop that.
Oh, Mrs. Brooks was a great woman.
She was.
I mean, it was in her class that they did find the carton of Newports in my backpack, which could have led into this kid's problematic train that happened with every teacher I got after that.
You're a capitalist.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
Hustling.
I'm a businessman.
Come on.
Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed is on the other side of this break. His show will be better than ours. Have a great weekend. We'll see you over Reaction Monday. Cheers. That was a great way to end the show. Barry Plum. I just feel like I had such a different experience than most people. And it's my fault. This goes back to the beginning of the show where I said, listen, people get sick of me. This has been my life. This is literally since I'm in 5th grade. This has happened. This is going to happen everywhere. But Plum, it would be nice if we had a good relationship.
They didn't love me either.
They hated me. Hated you.
You had to have a group of teachers, though, that you were tight with.
You and I got suspended together.
No, yeah.
What about your coaches? What about coaches?
No, maybe it was just me.
Wait, what?
No, coaches. All my coaches just left. Like, they would just be there for a year. I think they would be here 2 years. They'd be sick of all the bullshit, and then they would leave. You know, like, it was just, I'm telling you, Plum was very poorly run for a long time. And I think, you know, maybe that's changing. Maybe. I don't know, but I'd like to be a part of the solution over there. I'd like little future Pat McAfee's and future Tone Diggses and future Frank Maraldo's and CFO Phil's and RJ Umbergers and other people out of Plum that have, you know, gone on to do great things, and I'm missing out on a lot of people. Okay, there's a lot of great people from Plum, but I would like them to potentially not get fucked over by the bureaucracy of the terribleness that is at the top of Plum for a long time, if that makes sense.
Well, Plum's a big school, though, right? Aren't you guys, like, what was your graduating class?
Four,
not that big.
Four something,
I mean,
500.
kind of big.
It's not small.
I guess. Who runs the place? Who are the people that run it? Are they the same people that were around whenever we were there?
No, everybody's changed over since we were there. The superintendent's gone. The head principal's gone.
Listen, it got bad there. It got hot in the kitchen in Plum.
I would imagine a lot of heads rolled after.
Wait, is this all?
Yeah.
Is this all from these inappropriate relationships that a couple teachers had? That's what was like the main thing?
No, it was low test scores, dude.
Well,
Actually, we had really good test
and I think we were actually pretty good test takers. The students were actually a pretty gritty group. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get through this. Our teachers probably stink or whatever. But yeah, anytime there was I think there was massive cover-up happening too with the entire thing and all the behind.
It's actually a really pretty nice school.
They added. I was in construction my entire career.
Oh yeah.
So I did junior high. As soon as I got there, they started on construction. Then as soon as I got to high school, construction. Literally, we were the construction grade. So it's actually they got multiple gyms. Okay, we got 2 gyms now. One of the gyms was a cafeteria for like the first 3 years of my high school run there. Got a pool over there. It's nice. I think there's
got a pool in the school.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Miss Strout was a good swim teacher.
I will say my swim scores were not always great.
Wait, did you have to swim like for gym class?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't make a lot of appearances in
You
that.
did one semester was swim class, and then the next semester was gym. It sucked.
That's crazy. It was so hot. It was 7,000 degrees in there. You reeked of chlorine. Then you
Would
would
change.
Oh, it was
you
hot
go
for you?
Change in between, go back to class.
I had
go in the
first
morning, it was-
period
yes.
in January. That pool was 30 degrees.
Yeah, if you had the morning winter session, it was chilly.
I don't have that. There were some teachers we liked, though. To your point, there was a couple of teachers that I got along with, but there was the vast majority I fucking hated, and I don't think I was the only one. They hated me too, I guess. So it was a nice two-way street between that entire thing. But I don't think it's normal. I listen to other people and they talk about how this teacher changed my life. This teacher changed my life. I'm like, yeah, this teacher changed my life too. I thought that I shouldn't trust a single fucking person wearing that goddamn stupid suit that they wore every single day. It was a wild scene. But let's take care of Plum, huh? Let's change Plum. Let's create Plum into a better place. Let's be something that we wish we would have had whenever we were kids, getting yelled at for a bunch of stuff as Plum kids. We're all Mustangs here.
We're all Mustangs.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a long road. Who has
Listen,
enough time?
The kids in the community are great. It's a perfect group of humans that come together to create a hilarious atmosphere.
Blue collar, white trash, gritty group that kind of comes together and is hysterical.
A little mixture of upper middle.
Yeah, there is a couple neighborhoods, obviously. They seem to have a lot of the parties and the gatherings. Obviously, they'll take care of everybody else. They are great people. But it is interesting at the top of that place. You know what I mean? At the top of that place.
I can see how if you were like a teacher or administrator, that would be a tough group to kind of calm down at times. I can see it be getting a little rowdy.
Well, I mean, I think we've seen,
We know you, and we know the boys that came from there. So
yeah. I mean, I've been telling people to fuck off for a long time, that you're not supposed to tell fuck off. And this is like teachers and everything like that. It kind of set me up maybe on the wrong path, but it also has enabled me to be in the position I am. I was not listen, my parents hate me for a long time. People that are around me for a long time hate me. I mean, that is just my life that school district. I'm sure there was emails sent out like, hey, if this kid ends up in your class, you need to hate him from day one. Because that's what it felt like over there. It wasn't a very welcoming opportunity. Why'd you ever read a book? Well, every fucking teacher hated me, and I hated them. So there's just zero chance of that whole thing going on. You know what I mean?
that's weird because I would imagine you would be they would be touting you as the pride of Plum now. Like now they'd say, oh yeah, of course they know who you are. And like, yeah, right here, he sat in that chair right there where you are, buddy.
Yeah, the same people that were trying to run me out of that school were asking me for $40,000 the day after I was drafted to buy that football field. I'm like, this is the problem. That you are the problem.
Come on, you can name a room. We'll name the library after you.
There's nobody sponsoring anything at Plum. If I was to get $40,000, I think I'd get the entire property. Give me every single stadium, every single field. I would like that whole thing. You know what I mean? It's just. But because I worry because the soccer team, I think, is very good. Football team's winning games. It seems like they're on the right path. And if there's turnover and everything, I haven't even looked into it. We should get in there and help out a little bit more. Because I am directly associated with Plum. You pull into Plum, there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Plum Borough, home of Pat McAfee and R.J. Umberger." And then everybody's like, "Oh, this town stinks." I'm like, yeah, well, me too.
So they're proud of you, though. They're still proud of you.
No, that was one particular person trying to run for a position, and they lost, I think. But they were the ones that put that whole thing through. And then I got arrested a week after that. Put the signs up, and I got a public intoxicated. I am at blame here as well. Okay, I am certainly at blame. I am willing to take that. I am potentially an insufferable person to deal with, and those teachers did not deal with it well. I gotta get on the road, dude. What are you doing? Are you just going to the pool right now, the beach?
No, I don't know what we got some kind of activities going on this afternoon. No, I don't. It's nice. It's kind of warm. I like it.
Got some things going on. Activities. What is he, golfing?
What are you doing? Where are you at?
Don't worry about that, bud.
You look good.
I've talked to some people already, though. Joe Patter said hi. So I'm just telling you.
Are you in West Palm?
Oh.
I'm looking at some real estate. Yeah, there's a house that's been vacant for a couple of years. I'm looking at buying in West Palm.
You getting a submarine too? I heard there's a submarine for sale. Potentially.
Wait, do you have a submarine?
No, geez, don't you? This is not.
No, who had the submarine? No, I love submarines.
Well, all right. Submarines, I guess, were a way not to be detected, allegedly. How you could
for who?
Precious cargo.
For the house that you're looking at right now.
No, you're telling me Epstein was submarining people in and out?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
From where? Where was he picking them up?
All over.
And then driving underwater and then driving them on the submarine to like the dock of his house?
The island, yeah.
Oh, you mean the island over wherever that is?
Yeah.
Like a big one?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm there. That's where I'm at now.
You're on Epstein Island right now?
So the blinds are down. No. It is for sale, I think. Or the Virgin Islands, I think they're fighting over it. That's right.
That's a wild thing that happened during our existence.
Insane.
It's still happening. It's still continuing to go on, like with old Ghislaine. What's happening with her?
Is she dead? She was found in a...
She's on trial. She's on trial right now, I thought.
November.
Ghislaine. It's Ghislaine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I really took from that documentary.
On Peacock, yeah.
They told us nothing other than her name was being pronounced wrong because Alex Jones started that whole thing or whatever. So that was basically that. No new information came out from that documentary.
And a lot of the stuff that's been happening in the pre-trial, they won't release to the public because it's too sensitive, they say.
Too sensitive for what? We're learning about everything now.
I don't know. That's why it's like, oh, is it people in power they're trying to protect here and just dubbing it too sensitive?
That's like Gruden, by the way, allegedly a part of entire operation that's going on where Congress people are now asking Roger Goodell to open up the files. And Gruden told HBO, hey, the truth's going to come out. And Congressman Raja there follows us, so I wonder if they were listening to, everything is going to come out, though.
Yeah.
I believe that everything will come out at all times about everything. I honestly believe that. Yeah. Everything will come out at all times about everything. That's the world we're in. I guess it was much different in the past. I don't fully understand how people were able to get away with everything back in the day. Back in the day, you go one town over, nobody even knows. Like, hey, I'm John. I'm a new teacher in town. Okay, hey, how's it going, John? We'll give you this fucking first grade class right here. 2 towns over, murder, rapist, everything like that. They didn't even know. They didn't even have a clue. Like, that happened in our history, I assume, numerous times. You hear about, like, Bundy and all these people. They just traveled to another state. Nobody even knew they existed, were able to do whatever, and then they just bounce out to another state. It's like what used to happen versus what the world is now. I just think some people are never going to, everything's coming out.
Yeah, you could be the greatest KFC manager of all time and also serial killer.
From
True.
What's up? People used to have
not
separate
from.
families.
He lived in Waterloo. He's not from Waterloo.
Kind of. He was voted Man of the Year.
He was
the
Waterloo
pride of
JCs.
Waterloo, they said.
Yeah, the Pride, yeah. Man of the Year.
Well,
there's still a sign up, I think.
To his credit, I still go to that KFC every single time I go home. And it's not that good anymore, So
Why is that?
Because John's not making the chicken himself.
All right.
With his special spices that he brings in from home.
No. The Colonel sends those.
There's an update out of Julio Jones. Julio Jones running onto the field, I heard. Julio Jones on how he feels on Friday said he feels great and is excited about Sunday. Let's go, Julio. Hey, let's go ahead and make some hay on Sunday against the Chiefs, Julio. This is a big-time game. They're 4-2. This is the time for really to say, this is why everybody wanted to trade for me. This is why I'm Julio Jones. This is why I'm the aside-from guy in the wide receiver world. This weekend's the weekend, especially with A.J. Brown's butt and bladder dealing with Chipotle still at this point. Congrats to Julio. Love Julio.
Yeah.
Julio. Let's go, Julio.
Hey, is AJ Brown? Is it really due to Chipotle, or you just say?
Yeah.
No, it is.
Did we know what he had?
I'd assume it's just a burrito bowl. What?
I mean, like the chicken, or what? I've never had an issue with the chicken.
Well, I know the issue they had was from the lettuce was E. coli. So I don't know if it was.
Oh, by the way, if you guys didn't see on the news in the last 2 days, if you got your onions recently from anywhere outside of the U.S., throw those away because they also have a breakout.
So you would know that obviously if you traveled to another country, bought onions, and flew back in. How do I know where my onions are?
So I looked at the onions in our fridge and it says onions from the U.S. of A.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they chopped, diced,
Sicker.
yellow,
Yeah,
purple?
they're full white or yellow onion, whatever. They are.
I like the chopped ones that are on quarter pounders with cheese.
We have a chopper thing that.
Really?
Dice 'em up.
So you get a little
Slap,
squares.
you got a slap chop. You get the slap
Yeah,
chop, right?
yeah,
The one
slap
dude who
chops,
got his
yes.
tongue bit off by a prostitute. So.
Excuse me, what?
Talking about Vince?
What are you talking about?
It was an unfortunate incident. He hired a professional gal. They were intimate, and she bit his tongue off, and so he had to sue her.
The founder of Slap Chop?
Wow, yeah.
I think he was selling slap chop, but I don't know when in the scheme of all this, when his tongue got bitten off by this escort professional gal who must have been upset at something, but for him, it backfired.
He was a ShamWow guy, you're saying?
Yep.
Vince.
Billy Mays and then Vance, seems like there's always some sort of downfall at the end, but we appreciate their service to selling us shit. What did he do to that professional gal? I wonder, to get that tongue.
I mean, were they haggling over price? So she was like, all right, here we go. Let me bite this tongue out of your mouth.
Maybe.
All right, that's the show, dude.
Just pay her full rate, bud. That's all you got to do.
Are you down there all weekend? Are you with the family? Or are you all by yourself?
No, my wife's here. The kids are not here right now.
Oh. Hey, go have a weekend with the wife. Congrats on another child. I assume that's just how it works with you. You guys have sex, you create another baby.
Like triplets at this point at our age, probably, if we did that.
Why is that?
You know, as when people get older, a lot of times they tend to have duplicates. They have multiples.
Really? I did not know that was the case.
It does happen. I don't know if it happens more. I know it happens more when people start, you start doing like in vitro and all this stuff to try to help you get pregnant. That definitely can cause more to, 2 or 3 at a time. But yeah, I don't know.
That's
when
like
you
John
get
and
older,
Kate.
you have twins more often, I think.
Oh, John and Kate +8.
Yep.
Orlovsky's got triplets.
Yeah.
Does he? Does he really?
Yeah, Orlovsky has 3 boys and 1 girl. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I didn't know he had triplets though.
My dad's a twin. They say that potentially happens, right? If that carries over.
That'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to have twins.
I want 1 kid. I can't deal with 2, so I'm just hoping for 1. Hopefully one day. You know what I mean? Just 1. Spoil the shit out of him. Probably going to be the worst, insufferable, terrible child. All right, that's Feel Good Friday. Have a great weekend, AJ. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, all the
too,
boys.
Guys. Can't wait for my picks to hit.
Hey, $13,000, $10 bet if you clean sweep that thing.
I mean, okay, yeah, not happening.
Yeah, he won't. He took
But
the
maybe.
lines.
Who'd you pick last night?
Whoever won, I picked them.
Broncos.
Yeah, I picked them, I think.
I took the Browns. I took the Browns, so I'm 1-0.
No, you didn't.
I did. I got a bet.
I picked whatever you picked. Do not hang up. I picked whatever you know I did.
All right, so we're both 1-0. All right, we're both 1-0 going into the weekend. We're starting this thing undefeated. How about the Falcons-Dolphins game? You go, I got the Dolphins. I go, me too. And then you go, no, I got the Falcons. Me too. I am not letting you gain any ground on that particular game. Whatever you're with, I'm with. Gumpy, you got faith in the Dolphins in that game?
0 at all.
0. Okay, yeah, he's muted. Yeah, still muted. Still muted. Can't talk. Can't hear you. Yeah, it's tough. That is tough, Gumpy. It's unbelievable that you're being silenced back there. A dead battery, I do believe.
To a revenge game against its own team.
Huh?
To a revenge game against his own team.
We'll hear more about that at Hammer Down, I believe, 15 minutes after the show ends at youtube.com/Hammer Down. Have the greatest weekend of all time. We're back on Overreaction Monday. Big thanks to Orlovsky, Coach JB, all the guests this week, all of you for watching and listening. Cheers. See you, AJ. Have a great weekend, pal.